The WAN Show. We've got a great show lined up for you guys today. Our big headline topic is, of course, that AMD's numbers are bigger than Intel's. Therefore, their products are better. But AMD, why do you have to follow Intel's naming scheme? It's the worst thing their company does, and Intel has done some pretty terrible stuff. In other news this week, there is, of course, the verdict in the big court case. I'm talking, of course, about... Oh, dang it, I lost it. Here it is. Yes, Bungie winning a decision against cheat sellers. So that's pretty exciting. What else we got, Luke? Oh boy, this delay.
Google had a leak of a document, 2,500 pages of internal documents that detail the inner workings of Google search. And it's a little interesting because it goes against a lot of stuff that they've said in the past.
Don't look at it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not important. It might be out of date. Even though we said things in the past that contradict it. It might be out of date. Also, Valve says you can't put your games in your will. When you die,
what the heck?
All your games die.
Today's show is brought to you by Rocket Money, AG1, and Ridge, along with our chair partner, Secret Lab. Why don't we jump right into our big topic today? And that is, of course, that No Door Accord apparently just had a daughter. In Floatplane chat. Okay, sorry. I'll move on. AMD's numbers are bigger than Intel's. According to multiple sources and leaks, AMD has decided to rename their upcoming Ryzen 8050-9050 APUs in order to insert AI in the name, resulting in the Ryzen AI 100 series. Okay, this, I believe we already talked about. Ridiculous, obnoxious. I don't think anybody looked at Intel's Core Ultra naming scheme and went, wow, that sure makes it easier to understand what your product line is. And I can't really wrap my brain around this because on the one hand, you look at a sort of misleading or confusing naming scheme and you go, oh, well, that makes sense. It's so that they can sell you something not as good and make it sound good like something you would want. But when it's just a random mumble jumble of numbers and letters, how the f*** am I supposed to know that I would want any of it? I don't really understand what they're trying to achieve here. So naturally, AMD followed suit with this supposed Ryzen AI 100 series. No, wait, it gets better. More recent leaks indicate that AMD has again internally rebranded these chips, this time to Ryzen AI 300 series, so that they will not appear less numerically advanced than Intel's Core Ultra 200 series, which is following the Core Ultra 100 series.
Never better chip.
Can I just say this? AMD, at some point, you got the market share, you've got the performance, you've got the mind share. Man, you guys have got the engineering know-how. At some point, you've got to respect yourself. At some point, you've got to stop just calling your product Intel's naming scheme plus. Right? It goes all the way back to the PR or the performance rating system from back in that would have been late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in that time frame when AMD had already abandoned the gigahertz race. They had recognized that chasing more and more gigahertz was not the solution to gaining better performance and better efficiency. And so it started out kind of valid enough, right? Where they were saying, look, our processor doesn't run at the same frequency, but we're going to have this PR rating system that's going to be pretty much what Intel would have run at that kind of frequency, but like better. So they put plus at the end. And then AMD got kind of loosey-goosey with the performance rating plus towards the end of the Athlon XP days in particular, where you could buy a 3200 plus, but well, here, Let me put it this way. They released a 3200 plus Athlon 64 product. Okay, so that was their next generation K8 compared to the K7. They released a 3200 plus that absolutely bulldozed the original Athlon XP 3200 plus. It wasn't even close. Okay, so AMD knew. I don't even have to bring an Intel chip into the comparison. AMD clearly knew that if this is 3200 plus, this can't be. And they've pulled this kind of bullshit time and time and time again. Man, I'm trying to think of one of the ones recently where they changed the naming of their chipset so that when Intel released their new chipset, it would be the same number or something like that. Guys, let me know in the chat. Let me know which one it was. I'm trying to remember. Hit me with that. X370 versus Z370. Yeah, that might have been one of them. The point is, they've done this over and over and over again. It is so obnoxious. Just be your own company with your own product line, communicate your own value add, and stop trying to confuse consumers. We understand why you're doing it. You want to make your generation of product seem like it's a generation ahead of Intel. But this is such a stupid game. And if you play it, you're just going to win stupid prizes. Because now what's... Oh man, I'm trying to wrap my head. So what? So Intel's going to skip a generation now, and then they're going to have 400, and then AMD's just going to have what, odd numbers, and Intel's going to have even number. Like, no one's going to be able to understand what they're buying. I hate it.
They end up changing naming schemes entirely because like Intel's not going to be happy with being leapfrogged all the time. So they're going to like have to change, which I'm completely for, honestly, because I've never liked the Core branding.
The Core, yeah, man, the fact that
Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7 stuff was good.
Well, yeah, but that was just copying Intel too. Like, tell me something AMD has done branding wise that has been an original thought in the last 5 years. Give me something.
5 years? Yeah, no, I got nothing. I was trying to dig deep and be like, I think there's some ideas there, but no.
You know what? Okay. NH4x4 tracker says X3D. Yeah, I love that. It's so clear. AMD had an engineering advantage. Their 3D V-cache, they had an engineering advantage, and they put that in the product name. They clearly communicated the value add of 3D V-cache, which is that it benefits gaming and certain applications, and they put it in the product name. I love it. That's how you name a product. You tell us what the fuck it is. Okay. Hit me with a couple other ones. Nah, Threadripper's not within the last 5 years, yo. Sorry.
Oh. I thought X3D was older too, but I appear to be wrong.
Yeah, no, X3D is pretty recent. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's about it. Cool. All right. It's ridiculous. Anywho, I hate it. And apparently, oh my God, they're skipping a number on the next motherboard chipset, going straight from X670 to X870, which is most likely to launch at this year's Computex, which is also going to see the debut of Intel's Z890. It is not good for consumers.
It's still a smaller number.
That, and it's not good for consumers to see very similar numbers on the shelf when they are shopping for a product, especially when now, even physically, they don't appear that different. Like the socket in the middle of the motherboard kind of looks the same to the layperson. Just have a clear numbering and naming scheme of your own. All right, that's all I really want to say about that. Let's move on to our next topic. What do you want to talk about, Luke? What do we got?
Google search doc is real. Let's do that. Google has confirmed the authenticity of a 2,500-page leaked internal document detailing the inner workings of Google search. A Google representative warned against making inaccurate assumptions about search based out of. Oh wow, I really
You doing okay? You jet lagged, buddy? Are you jet lagged?
Inaccurate. I've been in the woods for a few days, so I haven't looked at a computer screen in like 4 days. Making inaccurate assumptions about search based on out of context, outdated, or incomplete information. Likely because many marketing and SEO experts have concluded that the documents directly contradict past public statements by Google representatives about how search works.
Nice.
Google employees have previously denied that search uses click-centric metrics to determine page rankings, that it does not consider subdomains separately from domains, and that it doesn't penalize new websites. But these claims are all directly contradicted by these technical API documents. Further, SparkToro founder and marketing expert Rand Fishkin says that the documents show a clear pattern of Google search increasingly prioritizing powerful brands over all else, even when smaller sites and companies are more authoritative, trustworthy, and relevant, which is something that we've been talking about for a while now. And even, I think we had a topic on WAN from House Fresh about a month ago.
Yep.
A few weeks ago about this exact problem. And now we see it in technical documents. And they can say whatever they want. They confirm the authenticity of the documents. So, yeah, sure, maybe it's out of dated. Sure, doesn't feel like it. Maybe it's gotten worse. Maybe that's the out of dated part. I'm not sure.
I mean, it doesn't matter how out of date it is if it's contemporary, right? Like if it is from the same time that they issued these denials that they are
100%.
that they're determining page rankings in these manners. I think it's been very clear to anyone who's ever talked to a Google representative that they are not transparent about how their algorithms work, and they will hide behind excuses like, oh, well, we don't know. It's a black box. We are not sure. But the reality of it is that I have personally had experiences with Google staff. I mean, obviously, most of my experiences with YouTube, not with Google search, but I have personally had experiences with Google staff where I've basically said, hey, you guys tuned something. Here's what I think you tuned. And they're like, no. And then 6 months, a year later, I go, hey, about that experiment a year ago, I see you guys have kind of walked it back. And they're like, yeah, it was kind of tuned too far for X. I'm like, right. So yeah, you never acknowledged it to me at the time, but if I just pretend that I knew about it, then no problem. And to be clear, it's not as black and white either as just an engineer going in and turning a dial, right? These are gigantic platforms. So any experiment that they run would never be site-wide these days. I mean, you'll see this in things like the rollout of the new layout, for example, where a small handful of people see it, and then more people see it, and then they gather feedback, and they gather user metrics, and then they roll it out a little further, and then they make some tweaks, and then they roll it out a little further. So it's not usually as simple as just, oh yeah, we want to be able to respond better. The time that I noticed this in particular was when TikTok was really on the rise. It's 5-6 years ago, 7. I don't know. It would have been a number of years ago, and it was kind of in the hot knife through object phase of YouTube, where, from what I could tell, it was basically impossible to break out if you were anything other than how many M&Ms you can flush down the fucking toilet, right? Like, it was just viral pablum, wall to wall, as far as the eye could see. And I was like, hey, I understand that you guys are up against a platform that is very, very on the ball, very trendy, but you guys got to make sure that YouTube doesn't lose its soul, that YouTube doesn't forget what it is, which is quality content, which is elevating authoritative voices that are going to provide top tier entertainment or education or whatever the case may be. And obviously YouTube is full of garbage as well. But in terms of what they were going out of their way to promote, I always felt that it was evergreen content that has a lasting value. I don't think that they've stayed true to that value. I don't think they've stayed true to that mission. I think that things are falling off. But I don't really have I haven't really seen a stark change, like a sudden change. So I don't really have any evidence to go by these days. But it's pretty clear from these leaked Google search documents that they absolutely do know what they're doing, at least to a degree, and they absolutely are not transparent about what exactly they are changing. This is a really good comment from Lowiniverse over on Floatplane chat. YouTube is the new TV. Yeah, we attended a creator workshop recently, and apparently TV, and we can see this in our metrics as well, TV usage for YouTube is growing like crazy right now. And that's something that you may see reflected in changes to our content over the next little while, because we've got to make sure that we're capturing that. I mean, we've made little changes to respond to platform development over the years. Like, it's funny how few people bring it up these days compared to when we first did it. But when mobile started to overtake desktop use, and that was a lot of years ago at this point, but when mobile started to overtake desktop use, and especially as mobile devices started to abandon the 16:9 standard aspect ratio, we actually changed the aspect ratio of our videos. So it's not whatever it would have been, like 18.5:9 or whatever was kind of becoming the standard. I forget exactly what it was, but it was a little bit wider, right? It was not that, but it also wasn't 16:9. We kind of split the difference so that you end up with small black bars vertically, so letterboxing on the desktop, and small black bars on the side, so pillar boxing on a mobile device that has a taller or wider screen. Yeah, so it's pretty darn good on the iPhone. It's pretty darn good on the TV and on your desktop, but it's not really perfect for anything. But you know, that's something. Oh man, maybe this should be this should be a conversation with YouTube. It'd be kind of cool for us to be able to just build in safeties and what are they called? Dan, you come from a production background. The safe zones or keepouts or.
Yeah, for what? For videos and things like that?
Yeah, what are they called again?
Yeah, safe zones.
Safe zones.
Yeah,
so if we could just upload in like almost like a square, just like upload in a square aspect ratio, and then just make sure all the content is within all the different safe zones, and then it could just auto crop. That would actually be kind of sick.
That's very common. Yeah, I have those for WAN Show and all sorts of stuff, yeah.
Really? How do you do that on WAN Show where we've got like text at the bottom?
Beep.
Oh. All right, he just put it up on my preview thing. Well, that's cool.
No, he showed everybody, I think.
Yeah, everybody can see that.
All right.
Well, he showed me.
Hey, but it cuts off the logo. That logo was designed by the one and only Edsel Yago. How dare you?
Yeah, that's why we can't put anything over there.
Oh.
I mean,
that's not a very safe zone, Dan.
The WAN banner
Dan.
acts as its own safe zone because it's on
Dan.
all the time. Whatever.
Way to be.
Whatever. Just disconnect again, Luke. I don't care.
All right. What's next, Dan? We're going to have to keep things moving pretty quick because poor Luke, it's the morning there and...
Well, let's get a couple merch messages in.
And he was in the woods or something. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Sounds like a good vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I got a couple of merch messages for you.
Hold on.
Here.
I should explain how they work then. Sure. Also, we have a very exciting announcement for LTTStore this week. We are launching... Dun, 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 dun. Oh, you got me? We are launching the Scribedriver. Hey, there we go. Oh, hold on. Let's see if I can kind of catch that. Ooh, the Scribedriver. It's a bolt-action stainless steel pen available in, I believe, 2 different colorways. Yes. Bolt-action stainless steel pen that is made out of upcycled screwdriver shafts. So if you guys remember, I was talking about how our original supplier for the screwdrivers, so there's the gold accented one, and then, that's the silver accented one, and there's the brass accented one. So if you guys remember me talking about this before, our original supplier that was supposed to build our screwdriver shafts and ratchet assemblies screwed up. Well, got acquired and then deprioritized their work and ended up taking forever and giving us extremely low quality output. And one of the things that they built for us without ever getting the go-ahead to actually build them, because we didn't approve the final samples, but they built for us 100,000 screwdriver shafts. And they basically were like, well, we made them, so you're not getting a refund. And we said, okay, well, if we're paying for them, then you better darn well deliver them to us. So we got pallets of screwdriver shafts that honestly we couldn't use in any other way. I should go to the Luke. Oh boy. Oh, yeah, there we go. Hey, okay, there's a, I'm trying to get there we go. Yeah. So anyway, so we got these pallets of screwdriver shafts, and if you guys are good at time, then you'll know that we've probably had them for a hot minute at this point, because we got these around the time that we were launching the original screwdriver. So anyway, we looked at them and we kind of went, well, it would be really cool if we could do something with these. And the original plan was to just melt them down and turn them into something. Like I had kind of pitched, what about a fail wrench? And it's just like a normal wrench. There's nothing special about it, but it's just made of failed screwdriver shafts or something like that. Just trying to get something out of it. And then we kicked around a bunch of ideas, and eventually, I forget who pitched it. It must have been Sebastian, because this is absolutely his handiwork. But he took one of the shafts, and you can actually see this one has quite a bit more of a screwdriver shape to it still. There you go. No, it's good, Dan. It's got more of a screwdriver shape to it. It hasn't been lathed down to make it. Here we go. Here's the final profile. There you go. See, like that? Cool. So it's got more of a screwdriver shape to it, and then he just like Frankensteined a regular pen top onto it and was like, fail pen. I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. So then in LTTStore fashion, instead of just going for something basic, we spent a bloody year developing a legitimately actually really great bolt action pen. It's got a really nice feel, great little fidget toy. It's compatible with, hold on. I forget. Basically what I told them is, look, make sure it's whatever like the good one is. That, Linus laptop, is unplugged. Well, there's your problem right there. I was basically like, look, make sure it's whatever the good one is that is broadly available, so people aren't locked into whatever, and so that we don't have to deal with dum-dums on Reddit that talk about how, the ink quality is bad. Literally, someone already posted that. I'm just going to get a Bic pen because the ink quality of the scribedriver is not even good. What are you even talking about? You don't know, and B, you can put in any, hold on, let me find it. Any Parker G2 refill. There are so many options. You can put in basically anything you want. So we didn't want to waste.
I have a bit of a question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you can scroll through the photos and you see the one where it's like a pen holder.
Have they been killing it on the product photos lately or what?
The photos look fantastic.
Yeah,
I
Maria,
will also give them that. Absolutely. The
I assume this is
great.
Maria. Yeah. What can I do for you? Keep scrolling. They see me scrolling.
Did you find the one where it's mounted in a bag in a orange and black like LTT backpack?
Oh, I'm working on it. Oh yeah. Laser. Let's go.
It's like 2 down or something. You're
Here we
almost
go.
there.
That's in the tech sack.
Oh, okay. All right. I have my backpack here, and I was like, "Where is that?" And I was like, "Is this a leak? Did we leak a bag?" No. Okay.
No, it's a tech sack. Showing the bolt action. Gotta love it. Anyway, really. Oh, sorry. It's electrical discharge machined. Sorry, not laser. Electrical discharge machine. Man, we spent so much time on like how to make the logo. I saw laser versions. I saw actual like machined versions. We ended up settling on that. So yeah, quality, sustainably built product. It's $30, which for these kinds of pens, actually pretty competitive, and it's a really great pen. So hope you guys enjoy it. And okay, Dan, I'm explaining merch messages. So if you want to interact with the show, don't do a super chat or a Twitch bid or whatever. Do a merch message. All you got to do is go to LTTStore, go to the cart, and if you got something in your cart and we're live, you can go ahead and leave a merch message. And if you check out, it'll go to producer Dan. Boop, there he is, who will reply to it or pop it up down here on the bottom of the screen, or forward it to someone internally who can respond to it for you, or he will send it to me and Luke, who will address it as a merch message. Dan, do you want to show the folks how it works?
Yeah, sure. I'm still going through all of them. They seem to really, really like pens.
Yeah, before we even talked about it on WAN Show, we had sold hundreds of them today. So that's good because
exciting.
We've got 100,000 shafts. Now, I believe each pen is made of 2 shafts, I want to say. I don't remember. So I'm not going to, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. Oh, that's something you'll notice, by the way.
Speaking of which,
is there might be slight color mismatches between the two sides. It's an upcycled product. Guys, take it for what it is. It's a unique piece of LTT history. The time that Linus got fucking shafted. There it is, right there.
speaking of which, is this a forced limited edition product then? Like once you sell the 100,000, would we find a way to continue making them, or is that it?
I don't know. I mean, we haven't numbered them or anything like that. We've kind of kicked it around. I mean, right now we're more concerned with developing other fail products than we are with selling 100,000 pens. I mean, with that said, I haven't looked at the sales numbers since we started the shows, so you never know. Now that we've actually formally announced it, things might go a little different. So we'll see.
Also, I want to address this because I've heard a few people comment on it. He's not like intentionally talking over me. There's I think over half a second of delay between us, and that makes it actually ridiculously hard to communicate. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm erring on the side.
I'm trying to time. Sorry?
I was just gonna say, I'm erring on the side of trying to fill voids and trying to leave only very obvious gaps, because not only is Luke a little bit delayed in terms of his internet connection, but his brain seems to be pretty slow today. So don't worry, I'm here to carry it for you, bro.
I'm also trying to time when I talk for just before Linus is done talking, so that the delay isn't as noticeable for the stream, but that can be like difficult to do. So I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best with it, guys. We're gonna do our best with it. All right. Why don't you hit me with a couple merch messages? Oh, good Lord!
Don't look at that. It's fine. I'll get through it. Let's see. Hey, LLD, if South Park were to parody you and LTT like they did with Logan Paul and Lizzo, how do you think they'd portray you? What kind of wild storyline do you imagine they'd come up with?
Oh man, they've already done the episode that I would want to be in. The one where they go to California and Kyle unplugs and plugs back in the giant Linksys WRT wireless router. There is no South Park episode that I would belong in, but I would love to be the, techie Canadian with my head all blah, 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 blah. Hey buddy. And somehow I'm involved in that storyline, but other than that, I have no idea.
Okay, and what else I got here? Linus, you work a lot. Do you ever wish you had more time to pursue hobbies and interests you have outside of work?
I mean, that's the thing about making your hobby your job. I kind of do my hobby every day to the point where sometimes I get kind of sick of it and I need other hobbies. I have kids, which is kind of a big hobby. That was part of that conversation. I think Yvonne and I talked about that a couple weeks ago when she was on the show, but that was part of that conversation that we had where it was like, look, we don't. She was basically upset because she was like, you hear about couples that grow apart, their kids move out and all this stuff happens and they basically look at each other and they go, who even are you? Like, I don't know you anymore. What do we do together? And I kind of went, well, we do raising kids together. We do building a company together. We do all of these things. I think we just need a perspective adjustment so that we can recognize raising kids as our hobby. I mean, people absolutely treat having dogs as a hobby, like taking care of their dogs and training them and feeding them and grooming them and like all these things. It's like, well, what fucking difference is it? They're just really smart dogs. And eventually they move out. It's great. It has challenges. But to me, it's just a perspective thing, right? And so I have hobbies. My hobbies are my job. My hobbies are my kids. I'm painting my motorbike right now. I game. When I find time, I I like setting things up, I find cable managing and organizing like kind of relaxing. I was never that kind of person when I was young. When I was a kid, I was the kid that you couldn't walk across the floor without breaking something because all of my belongings were just strewn across it. And like, I was the teenager with like all the plates and dishes in my room that needed to be taken up to the kitchen in giant batches to be cleaned, hopefully by someone else if they don't see me putting them all here. Like, I was always that kind of person, but I think having a team has made me really appreciate the importance of organization and value that to the point where I'll spend a Saturday afternoon, like one of my few times legitimately to myself, just like organizing my garage. I complete an embarrassingly small number of projects in my garage, but I spend probably more time than I do working on projects, just like organizing it and going, this is a space I can control. Everything is where it's supposed to be. Everything is fine. Sure, we can do another topic. Luke, do you want to, why don't I read a topic? No, we're not.
No, I got it. Give me another chance. Put me in, coach. Which one?
Whichever one you want.
Okay.
You could do Scrapyard Wars is back.
Yeah, let me do that. Scrapyard Wars is back. We're bringing back Scrapyard Wars with the help of our partner, Jawa.gg. They're a marketplace for all things gaming, full PCs, PC components, peripherals, even consoles, all from verified sellers. While the series won't be coming out until July, we'll be shooting it soon, and we need your help. We'll be hunting for some of our components on Jawa, so if you list your old parts on there, we might be able to buy them from you. Keep in mind that you'll be listing it for real, so don't try to sell like a 4090 for $1 so that I can win or Linus can win or something, because someone else might just buy it. So yeah. And also keep an eye on Jawa.gg because they're going to be launching a massive giveaway to celebrate the return of Scrapyard Wars.
I can't really tell you guys anything about what the gimmick will be this time, but what I will say is that it will be both back to roots, classic, awesome, head-to-head, and also you won't see it coming from a mile away.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about it. There's no competitive advantage for me knowing and you not knowing. It's just fun.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Pure fun. Listen to this guy. Listen to the confidence. Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to extend my winning streak. You know what? You, Luke.
Well,
let's start the trash talk now. I want the stare down. I want the stare down.
Based on how you did that price guessing video we did together, I don't know. I might have a chance still. I've been out of it for a while though. It's going to be interesting.
Born a cheapskate, always a cheapskate.
Yeah, it's a good skill. It's a good skill. Hopefully, it'll continue to carry me. Valve says you can't put your games in your will. A customer support representative from Valve has confirmed that you cannot bequeath your Steam account as property in your will, because Steam accounts and games are non-transferable in the event of death. This means that the Valve team would be unable to provide another person access to your account or to merge its contents with another account, even if that was laid out in a valid will. Account holders can obviously still transfer control of their account simply by giving another person their login information, but who owns this collection of perpetual game licenses would be legally ambiguous. I think another way to help in this scenario would be to set up one of the Steam family things.
Yeah, but that wouldn't stay valid forever.
Because then you'd still...
Because if you didn't log into an account for a certain amount of time, I suspect that eventually Valve would close the account. Like if you don't log into a Gmail account for 5 years or whatever, they close it. I don't know what the number of years is, so... your mileage may vary on that, but no, I would be very surprised if they don't eventually close accounts that are just inactive. With that said, a Gmail account is not full of things that someone paid for, right? Like they wouldn't close a Gmail account that's being actively renewed that has like an extra storage subscription or whatever else. So I don't think that's quite a perfect parallel to something like a Steam account where, yeah, it's full of paid merchandise. I don't like this in general. I think that Valve is a force for good in the gaming industry. I think in general, Valve is a force for good for consumer rights, at least relative to their competition. But this is something that I see as a step backward in terms of consumer rights when it comes to games. Nothing prevents me from bequeathing a retro game collection of SNES cartridges, for example, to my children or, my friends or colleagues or whoever the case may be. Dan, you can have my Super Mario RPG, okay?
Yay. I'm kidding. No, that's sick.
A cool cart.
That's sick.
You know what? No,
Hell
forget.
yeah.
No, forget it. No, forget it. No. You know what? No, you're out. You're out of the will.
Bequeath me, Linus.
All right. You can have my Super Mario RPG if I'm back first.
That's sick.
But yeah, so nothing prevented that. And while technically I get it, these are digital licenses to use it. These are our perpetual licenses to the licensee, which is a person. I don't know. It's I think it sucks, but we're seeing this kind of thing all over the place. So Luke, I don't know if I talked to you about this, but when I spent the 4 to 5 years that I spent shopping for somewhere to build a badminton center, that's something that I've been passionate about for a very long time, and something that I spent years trying to find a location for. One of the options that came up was a 99-year lease that was actually in kind of the recreation center of one of the municipalities within the Lower Mainland, within the Vancouver area. And I basically was like, okay, so how does this work? Because this is just bare land. So do you guys build a building on it? And then like what? I just sign a lease until my death, and then after I die, someone else is just gonna lease it or something. And okay, I knew more about how they worked when I was having this conversation, but what I'm laying out right now would be, I think, a pretty reasonable assumption for how something like that works. No, get this. You want to know how it works? You pay them market rate, no discount. You pay them market rate for the land as though you were buying it. Instead of getting the deed, instead of holding that property as a private property owner, you hold the right to lease it for 99 years or your own lifetime, or some combination of which comes first, or of the two. And if you're a corporation, for example, you're a Best Buy or an Amazon or whatever, then it would be tied to probably the time, and it would be tied to the corporate entity rather than a person. But in my case, it would probably be a brand new corporation that would be spun up just for this badminton enterprise. So, and I would probably be, along with Yvonne, the only shareholder and director. So it would basically be tied to our lives. So you pay full price, and I go, okay, but like, do you guys contribute to the development of a building? Like this is just bare dirt. Like, do you build the building and then I lease it? They're like, nah, you build the building. And I was like, okay. So I buy the land, and then I build the building. I pay the full cost for that. And then when the lease expires, you guys reimburse the asset that you've taken over in some way, like the building cost or something like that, to my beneficiary, or no, that's ours now. And I'm kind of sitting here going, what the fuck? I'm generally, I think that, a lot of Americans would probably see me as a filthy socialist. I am pro, public works. I am pro tax dollars being invested in public programs, swimming pools, ice rinks, libraries, parks. Man, I love that stuff. That's great. Spend that money. Let's build it. People should have access to recreation and entertainment. We shouldn't just be seen as walking wallets that pay taxes, right? Like, I want services in return for my taxes. All of that stuff. Sure. No problem. But to basically go, okay, yeah, you know what? Private ownership, bad idea. We take it back. No.
Yeah, I looked into one of those a while ago when I was shopping for my own place to live, and was actually pretty stunned at how bad of a deal it is. It's a pretty wicked deal if you're the one selling it. Because you get to sell a property and then your inheritance down the line just get the property anyways, which is kind of hilarious. I don't know, weird.
So it's so anyway, I forget where I was going with this. Oh, right. So I am generally pro, if you pay for something, it should belong to you and you should be able to do whatever you want with it, and that should include beyond your own lifespan. Is it kind of irrational? Yeah, I guess so. Like, I can see that perspective. Realistically, I paid for the game. I got all the benefit that I was possibly going to get from it. The latest research shows I can't take it with me. So what difference does it make? I'm not there to, see my kids enjoy my copy of Stardew Valley. Like, does it really matter? Could they just buy their own copy? Probably. But I'm torn, is what I'm trying to say. And I would like to see Valve do better. But I also would fully understand if this is an issue that they're basically going to studiously ignore and do absolutely nothing about. I mean, Valve has already done so much to make their licensing terms less of a burden on their users. The fact that you can family share games digitally over the internet compared to what everyone else was pushing for, absolute industry changer. Never mind game changer. And I don't think they're going to win that battle again, this time with bequeathing games. I also have no idea what the landscape's going to look like. 50 years from now when I drop dead, hopefully, knock on wood, right? 50 years from now when I drop dead, are my kids going to want to play Anno 1800? I suspect the gaming paradigm is going to have changed so much. Like that's basically like my grandparents bequeathing me their original Atari whatever, like the one with the actual, paddle controllers and that plays one game, that just plays Pong. I'm sitting here going, that's
sick.
Yeah, but I'm not going to play it. And this is digital,
I don't
Luke.
think it should be...
That's not digital.
Up to Valve. I don't think it should be up to Valve to decide.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Like, it
but
should be up to Valve. It shouldn't be up to us either, really. Like, maybe they do find it interesting.
I see it both ways. I definitely see it from both perspectives. Licensing is a complicated thing. And, we've seen time and time again that it's often not down to the publishing platform. It's often not even down necessarily to the game publisher or to the game developer. Like, we've seen games get shut down after 10 years, for example, because they don't have the development cycles to go and source and integrate new music. And there was licensed music that they only had a finite license for. Man, I remember learning about that, where we wanted to do that Top Gun volleyball scene with the original music for Channel Superfun. And they were basically like, yeah, you can buy a 6-month license for this amount of money, and then you take down the video after. I'm sitting there going, well, that's stupid. Nobody is listening to that song by watching this video over and over again. We're not even playing the whole song. Like, why do you care if we just have a perpetual license for it, but it's just not how it works. It's a time limited license. And man, the music licensing industry is going to be doing some stuff. The big rights holders in that industry are acquiring libraries like never before, and they are going to be jacking the prices for any iconic music from big artists. It's a whole thing. Sorry, that's a whole rabbit hole. Anywho, what are we supposed to be talking about?
I think it's new topic time.
Sure. Luke, do you want to pick a topic, or do I get to pick a topic this time?
I'm going to keep going because I can't do a lot of the back and forth conversation afterwards, so I'll read out the topics.
Nice.
PayPal launches an ad network. PayPal has officially said it will be launching an ad network that will sell ads leveraging the data it collects on the purchase history and spending habits of its 400 million users. PayPal claims that users will be able to opt out of their data being used in ad targeting. However, the only way to completely opt out of data collect users to delete their accounts. This change would also likely affect users of PayPal subsidiaries like Venmo and Honey, and I believe there's more as well, but I'm not surprised Honey's in there.
Nice.
I know that credit card companies sort of do this as well. They sell your data in regards to purchase history, or at least this is something that happened far in the past. But I suspect this will be a little bit more direct. I'm not sure.
Nice. This is like terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, look, let's be realistic. PayPal was already probably selling this data to other ad networks. So in terms of your personalized ads that are coming through on the side of the websites you use, or while you're waiting for your favorite live stream, WAN show, or while you're waiting for your favorite live stream to load, you're probably not going to see a difference. The only real difference is that PayPal is going to be profiting directly rather than by selling to another ad network. And I'm about to pitch you a controversial take on this, Luke. The ad network space, the ad network space actually needs more competition. Right now, it is dominated by Google and Facebook, and quite frankly, PayPal may be one of the worst fucking companies on the planet. But they may be a lesser evil.
Yeah, I really wish it was pretty much anyone other than PayPal.
Yeah.
But I think that is a decent take. It's effectively a duopoly right now. I don't see PayPal making that space any better.
No, I really don't. I was kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is just going to turn into more of a piece of shit. Like, this is not a good thing. But look, you got to let me have some fun with this. If we can't laugh at the darkest of times, what do we have left, Luke?
You know what they should do? They should make it so that PayPal already has your payment information. So they should just make it so that you to buy the thing in the ad, just click on the ad and it just automatically does the entire transaction.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, bud. You just wait.
Clicks now actually cost you money.
You just wait. And what was that buy now pay later platform that was in the news recently that had a scandal because they were like, oh yeah, we laid off a ton of our marketing staff and we just use AI for it now. I forget what they're called, but if PayPal owns a buy now pay later platform or something like that, then man, not only could you buy something instantly, Luke, you could finance it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Finance that toothpaste.
Finance a new F-150 simply by clicking an ad.
Heaven forbid you accidentally click an ad. Man, I have accidentally clicked more ads than I have intentionally clicked by probably several orders of magnitude. I don't know if I have ever intentionally clicked an ad, but I've clicked ads hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of times overall, right? Just you're scrolling on your phone or whatever. Man, you got to imagine, obviously legislation's going to come in that's going to make it illegal for them to just, one click have you just buy shit and it arrives at your door. But it's going to take a few years. And in that few years, the internet's going to be one hell of a ride.
If they could make it so that like you have to press a confirm button, but they can do the amazing thing that I love that modern websites are doing, where they'll have buttons load before other page elements, and those page elements will move the buttons. So you go to try to click on something, and then you end up clicking on something that like loads under it. Beautiful. You can just move the confirm button to where the no confirm button is. Perfect.
Oh man.
Flawless.
I don't know. I mean, look, our De-Google Your Life video actually had some really cool options that I learned about as we were working on that video. Like you can subscribe to search products that you can configure your own page ranking and that use their own indices and that track nothing and target nothing. And I don't think as a member of the tech media that I would ever switch over to it permanently, because part of my job is to use things the way that I expect people to use them. But it's tempting, dude. It's tempting. Like
ever since watching that video, I've obviously considering when I get back subscribing to a paid search, because I'm like with Google search, to be honest.
Okay, would you pay more? Because you have a YouTube Premium subscription, right? So that includes YouTube Music. Would you pay double if they just included Chrome integrated ad blocking and no search ads, no ads on the internet? If they basically were like, we'll eat it. We'll pay the advertisers that otherwise would have been displayed here. Like, here, okay, man, here, this would be, what a wild...
Ooh, if they pay it through, yes, I would.
What a wild 180 this would be if they basically created the YouTube partner program, okay? If the whole Manifest V3 thing was like a giant 4D chess game where they were like, okay, we're going to make ad blocking impossible because we're going to build our own ad blocking, essentially, kind of like Brave, right? Where you can view the ads and earn crypto tokens or whatever, except there are no ads to view. There are no crypto tokens. You just pay for Chrome and you just have a completely clean internet experience, but the page providers get paid, kind of like the YouTube partner program. So it's kind of like somewhere in between. 100%. It's somewhere in between YouTube Premium and the partner program and Brave browser. Would you pay double for YouTube Premium if it included that? So it goes up to like $30 a month or whatever.
It would also be really cool if they worked out.
Oh God, his connection's bad, Dan.
Yeah, I'm getting a whole 35 kilobits a second.
To access new.
Okay, I'm just going to jump in with what I think Luke is trying to say.
Have become subscribed to ads. Everyone's just adding any money.
There you go.
Okay, I'm just going to jump in. I think Luke is talking about news providers. Money has been flooding out of journalism for the last, realistically 10, 20 years now. And if this was a way for internet giants like Google to contribute in a positive way to rebuilding the newsroom, I agree with what I think Luke was saying, that would be absolutely incredible. I think that was what he was talking about. I'm not actually sure. While we wait for him to come back, I am going... Okay, perfect. It's like, do I even really need Luke to co-host the show? Not really. Hey, speaking of which, I think we had a topic after you left last week.
Probably not.
That... I try. It was a merch message. Someone sent a merch message for you, and I tried to answer it. It would be a lot of funny. It would be a lot of fun if we could get that timestamp. Someone in the chat, maybe. Do you guys want to see if you can find that timestamp so we could send it to Luke and he can watch it and then tell me how close I got, because I really did my best. In the meantime, I'm going to run through our sponsors for the show today. The show is brought to you by Rocket Money. Nobody wants to be surprised by a higher number on their bank statement than what they were expecting. Okay, phrasing, not great. I would love to see a higher number on my bank statement than what I was expecting. I think you mean a bill. Our sponsor, Rocket Money, wants to help avoid that kind of shock. As more products pivot to month-to-month subscription services, it's all too easy to be nickel and dimed by recurring charges. It's even worse when it feels like those services are relying on you to forget you signed up for that 30-day free trial. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower your bills, and manage your money better. Canceling unwanted subscriptions is as simple as a couple of clicks once you're signed up, and that's a lot easier than navigating a dozen different My Account pages. Plus, they have great budgeting tools for all kinds of spending habits to help set you on the right path financially. So if you want to save more money for the things that actually matter to you, join over 5 million members using Rocket Money today by clicking the link below. The show is also brought to you by AG1. Bacon, eggs, and ham, all part of a delicious breakfast. But what are those things missing? Our sponsor AG1 has the answer with a simple and convenient way to get the vitamins your breakfast may have otherwise been lacking. Their team is always trying to find better ways to source, test, and find the best quality ingredients available. And unlike other supplements that only reference research for specific ingredients, AG1's whole formula is backed by multiple research studies done by third parties in double-blind, placebo-controlled environments. They are transparent with their ingredients too, so if you're still not convinced, you can do your own research. A few of our team members drink AG1 every day and have done so even before they were one of our sponsors. It's an easy and satisfying way to start your day, and you can even get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/WAN show. We're going to have that link down below. Finally, guess who's back? Back again. Ridge is back for the men. But more specifically for your dad, who you might have neglected to buy a gift for. That's right, here's another friendly reminder that Father's Day is right around the corner, and Ridge can help you find the perfect gift thanks to their Father's Day sale, where you can save up to 40% on their products. You should know by now they've got wallets, key cases, rings, even suitcases. Plus, you'll be purchasing with peace of mind thanks to their 99-day money-back guarantee and over 100,000 5-star reviews on their products. And no worries, Luke and Dan, we don't have a photoshopped image of you guys this week. You'll just have to use your imagination. Oh, that's weird. Go check out the sale using our link in the video description. Anywho, sweet. Am I also supposed to mention our chair sponsor?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, whatever.
They can see the logo on your shoulders.
Our chair sponsor, Secret Lab, just in case you guys missed that.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that was weird. Cool. Wait, do we have a Father's Day thing?
I don't know.
I thought Luke said something about a Father's Day thing on the store. Yeah, it's not in the thing.
We do.
It's not in the thing, Luke. Gosh darn it.
Well, it's on the store. It's one of the banners at least. I don't know if
Happy Father's Day. Don't screw it up.
Or something.
Polo shirt, scribedriver, LTT hat pro, and a screwdriver. Hey, there you go. We've got some.
It's more of a suggestion.
Yeah, we got some Father's Day gift ideas. Oh, that's smart. Whoever came up with this idea, good job. Oh no, the Jerry Rig Everything knife is sold out. Is it though? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's funny. I thought I saw some sales for it the other day. Well, maybe we're out of it again. It's a popular knife. Cool. All right. See you later. Okay. Why don't we jump into our next topic here? I think I'm going to pick this one since Luke's having some audio issues. Microsoft says no screenshots at work. Microsoft Edge for Business is adding a feature that allows IT managers to tag web pages as protected, meaning they can't be screenshotted in the Edge for Business browser. The browser will also be rolling out a feature that allows IT admins to see which devices have Edge instances that are out of date and force them to restart and install updates. Our discussion question here is, they know we can take a photo of a screen, right? Also, didn't they just announce Yeah, go ahead.
I have a counterpoint to this. The photo of the screen thing. I don't think this is made for workplaces like ours. I think this is made for ultra secure workplaces where you might not have a phone on you or be able to have a phone on you.
Okay. All right.
I suspect this is like for like military stuff like that. I don't think this is for like, your random job. Now, it's being rolled out to probably everybody, so yeah, a little silly in some situations.
You're definitely going to have workplaces that are like, we are very secure and we take security seriously and you can't take screenshots and edge. It's like, man, I remember when I first learned about Snapchat. Okay, someone explained Snapchat to me. I was like, sorry, what the fuck is Snapchat? And they're like, yeah, it's like messages, but they're like, they disappear after a while and you can't screenshot them. And I'm like, so it's WhatsApp. And they're like, no, it's Snapchat. It's Snapchat. It's you can't. You could like send nudes and people can't. And I'm sitting here going, are you an idiot? Like we don't.
You sure can.
You sure can.
If it shows up on my screen, I can decide to keep it forever, no matter what you do.
Like
it's
this is absolutely ridiculous in most situations. This is hilarious. Yeah, this is a really good point. For my work, this is someone in Floatplane chat, we absolutely need to be able to take screenshots and mark them up and send them to people. You are definitely going to have a well-intentioned IT department roll this thing out based on some boomer boss directive and is going to cause absolute fucking chaos. Absolute chaos within the workplace. Mark my words.
Most non-technical people don't even know about like screenshotting or snipping tools and already just use their phones to take pictures of screens. So like, who are you even stopping?
Funny thing, I often take a picture of my screen because it's way more convenient, like to send it to someone on what I might not be logged into WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. Like, I mean, I have like a dozen different messaging apps. So depending on who I'm talking to, it may be extremely inconvenient for me to get a screenshot from my computer onto my phone because I haven't done the like Android Windows link thing. And I just, it's so much easier the once every 3 months that I need to do that to just take a picture of my screen. I'm sorry, Luke, I've let you down.
No, I do it on the WAN laptop, because I'm not logged into any of my personal stuff on that laptop. So sending images off of it is a huge pain. So I will take a picture of it and then send it to like the info team or whatever else. So it happens. There are times where it is better. It's just, usually not.
And to kind of counter that point a little bit, it is set up so that it's specific websites or so it can be configured so that only specific websites can't be screenshotted. So for example, at NCIX, actually NCIX was hilarious. At NCIX, our internal system was accessed through a Windows remote desktop connection to one of many machines. So everyone had assigned machines. And the only browser that we could access that in was IE, which it wasn't that long ago. That was pretty bad already when I was there. And so this is the kind of thing that an organization could try to prevent, screenshots of your inventory or your sales from being quickly and easily gathered and leaked to a competitor, for example. With that said, we all worked in private offices anyway, and nothing would have prevented us from just taking pictures of our screen or anything. But hey, sure, cool. Anywho.
Security theater.
Yeah. What else we got today? Oh, no. Ooh, cheat sellers lose in court. This is cool. Cheat mod providers lost 2 major decisions this week. The first suit was a copyright infringement claim launched by Bungie 3 years ago against Phoenix Digital, the owners of mod-selling site Aim Junkies. While some of Bungie's claims were settled in arbitration last year, with Bungie being awarded $4.3 million, a jury has now decided in Bungie's favor and awarded them $63,000. That's not a lot of money. But these cases have typically ended in settlements in the past, and this decision will likely set a legal precedent for future cases. In a second case...
It's a huge deal.
Yes, which is a huge deal. So we'll get to that in the discussion. In a second case, a judge has sided with Activision and ordered cheatmaker Engine Owning to stop making and selling cheats, to turn over its website, and to pay Activision $14.4 million in damages, as well as covering their legal fees. So our discussion question here is it good that cheat providers are losing in court? And I think I'll let Luke handle this one.
Yeah, I think it's super good that cheat developers and providers are losing in court. It's honestly ruining a lot of modern gaming, especially in the FPS scene. But it's hitting a lot of other games as well. It's never been worse. You get ads on. I've received ads on YouTube. I've received ads on Twitter. I've received ads all over the place for cheats. And back in the day, you used to have to be at least somewhat like technically competent to know how to make it work. And these days, not even sort of. It's just you launch the program, it runs a GUI on your screen. It is automatically set up to actively protect you based on screen sharing problems and things like that. So if it detects that you're streaming or something like that, it'll try to hide itself. Like it's very conveniently built because this is a large industry with a significant customer base at this point in time, and that needs to be shut down if we want to have gaming online be legitimate at all moving forward. So I think it's actually a very important and very big deal that this precedent has been set.
And look, I don't want to come across hypocritical because we've made very similar arguments in the past that the difficulty of doing something is not a valid or the ease of doing something is not a valid reason to outlaw it. For example, I made the argument in our coverage of the Flipper Zero that no, a pen testing tool should not be banned just for its capability of making these kinds of functions available to a lay person, right? So what's the difference here is probably what you're asking. And from my point of view, a pen testing tool has legitimate purposes. It has the ability to be used by gray hat and white hat people to achieve better security overall. And so the argument that it is not, okay, yes, it is allowing some folks that otherwise wouldn't have the technical means to engage in technological mischief, but it is generally broadening the understanding, I would say, of the general public about the threats that are out there and that were already accessible at a very, very low price of entry for people who want to cause trouble, or for people who are realistically doing something a lot more nefarious than changing the numbers on a gas station sign or unlocking people's cars is pretty bad. There are definitely bad things that you can do with not just the Flipper Zero, but with these kind of like mainstream hacking tools. But the difference here is that these game cheats serve absolutely no purpose whatsoever other than to degrade the experience of using this product for absolutely everyone other than the person who buys the cheat. It's pay to win, except it's not even endorsed by the game developer. It's not even available to the other player that wants to play legit. So that to me is the difference between these things. But, Alan asks in the Floatplane chat, do you even think the courts can make such a nuanced, okay, this word is not correct, but distinction? Do they have that capability? Honestly, I don't know that they do, but generally I am supportive of companies that try to degrade or destroy the functionality of someone else's product being penalized for it. But hold on a second. Okay, we're in a super gray area here, Luke. Okay, what about a company that's selling Tesla hacks so you can unlock your heated seats or unlock additional performance or range? They're not degrading the experience of using the product for the customer, but they are certainly degrading Tesla's ability to charge money for that product. Are they in the same?
My issue is that with
go ahead.
cheats, you are degrading the experience of other people.
Sure, but Tesla's other people.
Enable yourself. They're another company, not
a corporation is an individual.
So that I think that's the stupidest thing ever. I don't care
That's
about that
that's
at all.
a legal thing. That's a legal thing. I don't make the rules.
Sure.
We have to consider it.
Other users, I would say, other users.
Sure.
Because Tesla's not a user. So if
true.
you made it so that by enabling heated seats for you, the seats of other people in the lanes around you while you're driving have to be on active cooling for some reason, then yeah, that would be stupid, and I wouldn't want that to be allowed. It's the issue is that it significantly degrades the experience of other people, and in a lot of situations, these are competitive environments where people could be potentially pursuing careers or directly pursuing ranking positions that could lead them into the money.
Or money.
So this
could be their livelihood.
Actually, a financial problem. Absolutely. Yes.
Karate Swan asks a great question. Could this set a precedent that affects the modding community? And I think that by Luke's definition, where we only care if it degrades the experience for other users, no, it shouldn't affect the modding community, but can we trust the legal system to make that distinction? I think it's very challenging. You would have to have such a deep knowledge of gaming to tell the difference between the legality of a mod that who cares? Lets you run around as a hyper-sexualized bunny in a single-player game versus a mod that allows you...
Of mods.
Sure. Versus a mod that allows you to change your in-game skin in Fortnite to some combination of the default grass building and dirt textures, essentially turning you into a camouflaged player model, right? What would be the difference to them? And I don't think I trust them to be able to tell the difference. So it's really hard for me to take a firm stance on this, even if I am ultimately happy to see these game cheat makers paying some kind of penalty and to see finally some kind of crackdown that isn't just falling on game developers to try their best to infect our computers with more, kernel level software and rootkits in order to freaking supposedly prevent cheaters from degrading the gaming experience. Hold on a second. Imperator 3733 says companies are not people, regardless of what a clueless judge thinks. They're not. I don't disagree with you. It makes absolutely no sense. But it's also, there are reasons for it, even if they suck. Is all I kind of have to say about that.
Fair enough. Should we do the remaining announcements? I think we've got Dan Week and remaining charity stream items.
Yeah, hit me. Or if you want me to do it. Your audio is okay right now, though.
Themed Floatplane Week. And this time we're highlighting one of the most important people on the WAN show. That's right, it's the one and only Dan! Dan Week is upon us on Floatplane, and we've got special content going on, such as a video about Dan's new car, which is actually really cool. I haven't seen the video, but his car's cool. Answers to your Dan-centric questions, and a rant about, of all things, a table. Additionally, we're doing a giveaway with many items, including Green Man gaming codes, retro and stubby screwdrivers, LTTStore desk pads, and 20 bread plushies. Wow. Thanks to everyone subscribed to Floatplane. We're excited to bring you more of Dan. Also, remaining charity stream items. Check out the remaining products from our charity stream that are still available for purchase at Whatnot. lmg.gg/charity leftovers will bring you there. We've got some LTTStore items, a PC, a laptop, and some other PC parts and peripherals still up for grabs.
Hey, there we go. All right, got the list up there.
And I have some quick updates about the pens. I believe that we've sold probably about 1,100 to 2,000 currently. We have apparently made 5,000. So unless you want to wait another 2 months for them, you should probably buy one tonight.
Oh, I was wondering where you were going with that because
Yeah,
this is just the live audience too. That's wild.
I'm getting some info from Nick as well. But
what the f***? There's only, hold on a second. How many people are even watching the show? Seriously? Hold on. No. Hold on.
I've already done 517 merch messages.
You're a unit, Dan, just so you know.
Hell yeah.
There's 10,000 people watching on YouTube, okay? There's probably, based on sort of chat velocity numbers, because we don't have an actual viewer count, but there's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of a couple thousand watching on Floatplane. There's probably a couple thousand watching on Twitch. Yeah, there's 2,000 watching on Twitch. And Lord only knows how many are watching on Twitter, because I think that number's fake. So there's somewhere between 15 and 20,000 people watching WAN Show. That means 1 in 20 of you, like look to your left, look to your right. There is a 1 in 10 chance that one of those people bought a pen. You guys are wild. Yeah, I mean, it's a great pen, and it's honestly a good price compared to other like stainless steel machine. Like, it's a beautiful pen. But you guys are awesome, and thank you so much for your support, you guys.
Sorry,
You're awesome.
we're up to 1,500 now.
Way to go, Dan. Way to sell 300 pens or whatever that works out to.
To be fair, I talked to Nick a half hour ago, so it's already another 400 in a half hour. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's wild. All right. What else we want to talk about today? PayPal.
One quick question I have for Dan is,
all right.
You're seeing the merch messages come through. How many people are buying like multiples of them?
I don't think he's looking at what people are buying, Luke.
Yeah, so if
His
you want,
fingers are on fire.
If you want accurate numbers, I now have 530 merch messages, and we've sold 531, 32, 655. That's basically how fast. 56. This is how fast it comes in. 57. This is how fast I have to. You're ruining my life.
Yeah, why are you talking to Dan?
59. 60.
Oh, sorry, Dan. Keep going. Ignore me.
This is ridiculous.
62.
Every time I refresh the Shopify
500
dashboard.
people went to the site since I mentioned this.
Okay. Well, anyway. Yeah, it's a cool pen. Guys, hey. I
love you all. 63.
Hey, make sure to pick up, a t-shirt or something in the meantime. We've got the clothing products have not been selling as well, but the reviews are so good. So if you guys are, picking up a pen, hey, maybe check out the polo shirt. 4.5 stars. Maybe pick up a button-up shirt. 4.5 stars. We got lots of, we got so much clothing, you guys. What about the dip dye hoodie? Look how good it looks. Okay, we don't have any reviews for that one yet, but it's great. The Dropout is my personal favorite. Am I wearing my Dropout today? Yeah, I'm wearing my Dropout today, man. I love this thing. This is a 5-star product. Literally 5 stars. Amazing quality. 5-star. It makes me feel awful. Oh, that I got it at such a steep discount. Yeah, it's great. Anyway, all right. Buy some clothes. What else we got today?
Luke will return in a minute.
Okay. Dang it. Well, this was one that I really wanted to be more of a discussion. Oh, I was about to have Dan join. No, you're busy.
I got stuff to do, sir.
I'm on my own.
I mean, I can help a little bit.
No, you're good. Do your thing. Sony struggles with the... You know what? No, I have an idea. I mean, realistically, he's not doing anything anyway, so...
Uh-oh.
Oh, well, that doesn't work. Why do I not? I thought all of my Google contacts automatically join my phone contacts, but apparently they don't. So I have no idea how some of those people ended up in my contacts list. Okay. Realistically, this guy's not doing anything important anyway.
Hello?
All right, what's up? What's up, Eli? All right, we're going to be talking about $500 skin bundles. And before we do that, I just am going to kind of put you on the spot live here. You know how we talked about, one of those conversations that I was having with my kids about stuff that I don't want to see them doing. And I was all like, hey, kids, doing that thing. What is that? And they're like, it's dumb. Are you comfortable talking about, what we talked about after that conversation with my kids? I'm asking in very coded language on purpose here.
Are you wanting me to tell how much I've spent on skins?
No. Well,
yes.
Basically, the conversation we had about, how that can be bad and stuff, like that whole thing.
Oh.
Like, is that something you've talked about, or?
I don't remember. I remember telling you how much I spent, and then you said it was shameful.
Okay.
That's all I really remember.
Okay. Man, okay. Mute me for a second, Dan. Mute me for a second. We're back.
Yeah.
Okay, so Elijah, one of the things that we chatted about when you were over for the LAN party was how, for you, in-game spending actually got to the point where it was a real problem for you. And, this is one of those things that I feel like for me and Luke, it's very easy for us as people who never got into it to kind of talk about, well, just don't buy the skin, right? But I think for someone who falls into alcoholism, for example, to hear someone say, well, just don't drink the drink is actually very, very non-constructive. And so as we make our way into the Riot news this week about their skin bundle, why don't you talk a little bit about what it's like to be the sort of person that's being targeted by this type of marketing? Because we chatted about that a little bit at the LAN.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, one thing that I have always struggled with was mainly the FOMO and like loot boxes. So, the chance of getting something that is there, falling into that gambling aspect. Unfortunately, I suffer from being taken advantage of that and basically having gambling addiction. So in early days when loot boxes were super, super prominent, and basically the first thing you see when you boot up a game is, oh my God, you can get this skin. You should go get it right now. It's very tough because you can then boot up a game and maybe your friends have it, or maybe someone else got it that's in this game and you're like, wow, that actually does look really, really cool. It's a tough feeling to fight because, it almost feels like you have no control because you're just like, oh man, they're just shoving it in my face. There's an opportunity. I have to take it and I don't want to miss it. So it can be really tough.
And the game can be a significant part of your social life. I mean, it's not like I can't relate to that. In my peak TF2 Left 4 Dead days, I literally got up in the morning, ate food, went to work, ate some food, worked some more, went home, grabbed some food, and sat down at my computer and gamed until it was time to sleep, rinse and repeat, and do it again. And so the idea that, this could be a significant amount of your social circle is your gaming buddies, and a significant amount of your social life is interacting in this game is, it's something that we should be able to relate to, even if we haven't really considered it that way before. So let me run through the news from this week. League of Legends developer Riot is selling what it calls, this is great, some of our most generous bundles to date. I'm going to stop there for a moment. Elijah, how do you feel about a game developer describing a skin bundle as generous?
I would say they're pretty humble.
Perfect. This is despite the fact that the cheapest of these bundles is $50 and the most expensive is $500. The $500 bundle features cosmetic skins for the playable character Ahri, leading many players to argue for boycotting the character. As ranked league matches allow each team to vote on a small number of characters who can't be played in the next match, boycotting players could eventually potentially even block others from playing Ahri. Some players, however, still appear to be buying these egregiously expensive limited time offers. At least one third-party seller of in-game currency claims that some of his customers took out small loans in order to do so, saying, "Can you guys stop taking out loans to buy the Ahri skin? I don't want to put you in debt. Legit, every second order is with a loan agreement." So, can you talk a little bit about how that feels?
It doesn't shock me that people are buying it. And I think that's I remember one of my first WAN shows when I was typing in chat, you were blown away when I mentioned that a CSGO skin sold for 6 figures. It's one of those things that becomes a flex status symbol. It's the same reason that Supreme clothing, can charge prices. Gucci can charge their prices. Even if they are good quality, you're paying the artist for their work of what they've done. It's a flex status at that point.
Oh man, I gotta confess, I still have a hard time wrapping my brain around that. That's still something that's very difficult for me to fathom. When I was in school, right? I wasn't cool. I didn't have status symbols. My RCA Lyra MP3 player did not get me chicks.
What?
The cool
Really?
the cool kids had mini disc. All right. So I don't know. As someone who maybe part of it is that I have never reaped the social benefit of flexing. And so maybe that's something that, and guys, let me know if I'm kind of onto something here, but like, is that something that can get you kind of addicted to that dopamine hit of people being like, whoa, man, like cool jacket or cool product? Like, is that part of the experience?
I think part of it can definitely be related to that. I think this $500 skin is definitely going to be pushing that outer limits of, people being like, damn, you're kind of an idiot potentially because you spent $500. But there's also going to be that group of circle that's like, wow, that guy must really like this game, or he plays this game a lot, or, whatever it may be, because they have that skin. And yeah, like you said earlier, social circle, right? If you're part of a group of friends that only plays League and you want to be the guy that has the $500 skin, it's a status symbol. But
like, wouldn't the status symbol be like, I'm baller enough that like I don't have to dress up. I don't have to cosplay as a League player. I can just rock vanilla and beat you, and embarrass you.
Like 100 in the world then. Like that's the kind of thing, no one cares about numbers 1,000 to 10,000. They only care about the top 1,000. So, if you can't make it there, your next chance is to look cool and look like you belong.
Oh my God. Chase is in the chat now. Good Lord. Did you see this? Valve apparently lets you rent CS2 skins so you can try them out and then decide if you want to buy or keep renting them? Are you fucking kidding me?
Dude, it's a thing where people will buy a skin, put it on a gun, and get upset because it doesn't look as good as it does in the shop.
What does that even mean? It was digital in both places.
No, okay, but like when it's in your hand and like you're in first person perspective seeing it, and how it glints off like maps and lighting, if it interacts with the environment, if the shadows, if the light, dude, I can see your reaction looking at the camera right now. I get it. You're dumbfounded by this. Like, I get it.
You know why they call it dumbfounded? Because I found dumb. I found it. I'm
not even going to ding that. That's just clever.
Yeah,
thanks, Dan.
It's crazy. Like I totally, yeah, but I totally see why renting would be a thing, because if you're not sure how it's going to look on your favorite map or in your game, why would you spend the $500? Maybe if I can spend $10.
Just Luke is in Floatplane chat is like $100 a month. You get every skin. New idea. You're welcome, EA. But it's all a rental. Okay, so I love it. It's skins as a service. Let's fucking go.
I love that. I hate this timeline.
Worst idea. Can we get a patent on that real quick?
Oh my God.
Sony's already got it.
Elijah, I would rather not make the money than, I guess we could patent it so no one does it.
That's what I'm saying. Or,
I see. Okay.
You're not in charge anymore. if Taryn asks you to do this, we kind of have to now, right?
I don't know if I'm going to sign the check, man. I don't know if I want any part of any of this.
We could sell new colors for the LTTStore.
That's fair. Float skins. I like that idea.
Yeah.
We give our chatters specific colors for their username, and they can rent it.
Or like you could have dark mode or like puce for the background.
Floatplane people, they already pay a subscription.
Yeah, but they could pay us more.
Why do we want to nickel and dime people?
They're a trapped audience.
Why does Fortnite do it? Why does Valorant do it?
Because it's profitable.
Yes, think of the opportunity.
I mean, look, I got to tell you, like back when we were looking at development of our own VPN, it's not like we didn't recognize that digital products are so scalable, can be so profitable. I mean, if we could come up with more digital products, I mean, look at Floatplane. We have almost 35,000 paying subscribers on Floatplane. That is a pretty chunk of change, and we're so appreciative of you guys for supporting us like this that we actually go and spend a lot of money on, making sure we're creating exclusive content and all of that stuff. And it's great, right? It's win-win because we can build out a team that is able to have a good job here at Linus Media Group, and you guys are getting all this great behind-the-scenes content, all that good stuff. But like, I don't know, we've had these conversations internally that I'm like, yeah, but should we just be creating a digital product for the sake of having a digital product because it's just profitable? I don't know. I want to
do that.
No, we don't. I mean, okay, we did. Yes. The potato.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I thought we did this, didn't we?
But that was a joke.
And people still took it.
It was an obscenely profitable joke. I think we sold like 800 potatoes, and they weren't even real NFTs. They were just pings or JPEGs or something.
Oh, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Oh.
No, they knew. We said it was.
I know.
Yeah, we were totally upfront about it, that the whole thing was nonsense. Do any of y'all still have your potato? By the way, did anyone in chat buy a potato?
Imagine if you deleted the PNG and it's just gone. You just lost it.
Yeah. Oh, what a shame.
Is Luke coming back? Like, do you need a camera? Because my audio is garbage. So like.
I don't know. Hey Dan, is Luke planning to come back?
Yeah, he's right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Luke's apparently ready to come back. Okay, all right, cool.
Oh, okay.
See you later, Elijah.
Okay. Bye, buddy.
Thanks for filling in. Okay, bye. Yeah, really, really cool, different perspective. And the timing was pretty good to bring him in just because I think that Luke and I, as outsiders, can be a little judgy about that kind of stuff. And that's probably unfair because we know that these companies are engaging in psychological manipulation. And so I think just being dismissive of people's susceptibility to it is honestly just kind of non-constructive. So I thought it was pretty cool to have Elijah come in and give us an alternate perspective on that. Luke, did you have any thoughts you wanted to share on the $500 skin bundle, or do you want to move on to, this is a good one. Social media children are finally fighting back as adults. Something I called like almost 10 flipping years ago.
Yeah, I think on the $500 skin bundle, like if it doesn't make you better at the game, if it's not a skin that like makes you camouflage in with the background or something like that, I don't think that people should buy it. But it's a free game, so like I don't really care. They need to make money somehow, and if someone's gonna buy this, like, cool, I guess.
But based on how many people, dude, but based on how many people are taking out loans to buy it, I mean, isn't that just sad? Doesn't that just tell you? Like what they know what they're doing. They've got to know what they're doing, right? Like at what point do you have to kind of go, okay, look, you're working at a tobacco company. You're complicit. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, I think for some people though, that $500 skin bundle isn't going to be bad, and smoking tobacco is bad for everyone.
And like, look, I get that not everybody's in a position to be able to make a moral judgment about, the job they have to do to put food on their table. I get it. No judgment here. But I do feel like at least at the executive level, they've got to know who they are making these things for. I mean, Luke, you've talked about this before, where there are games where they go into their analytics with enough granularity that there are specific users that they will craft an item for and market it to heavily because they know they're going to buy it. It's nasty.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't like it. But I don't know. I don't feel super strongly about it just because I think my stance on this is just like, obviously don't buy it. But I don't know. What was the next topic?
Next topic is, now that the first big wave of social media babies are hitting adulthood, some of them are now advocating for protecting children from their parents' online oversharing. Two notable advocates are
right topic.
Are Cam Barrett and Chris McCarty, who have been testifying to lawmakers in multiple states, asking them to regulate family vlogging and ensure that children are protected and, to some degree, compensated for their labor. They are working. They are generating revenue. This is not the same as household chores. And I have had some stupid fucking conversations about this where like it just about made my brain rot from the inside out. People basically going, yeah, until they're 18, they're my kids. And if I tell them to do something, they got to do. No, child labor is not something that you have the right to have your kids do. And if they are working on a commercial endeavor, they are child laborers, and there are very strict regulations around it, even in industries where children are allowed to work, like the entertainment industry. 25-year-old Cam Barrett claims that she was traumatized by her mother's extreme oversharing, which included everything from childhood tantrums to personal medical information. In particular, Barrett was humiliated by her mother's decision to post publicly about her first menstrual cycle when she was only 9 years old. These posts led to celebrity attention and perks like front row concert tickets, but also fed ammunition to bullies who used the information to ridicule her. She claims to have started hiding in her room to avoid being on camera, and that she felt she couldn't confide in adults for fear of her secrets being exposed on social media. Meanwhile, 19-year-old Chris McCarty is a founding member of Quit Clicking Kids, and he has noted that family vlogging can be in some ways worse than child acting, as these children wind up living in houses that feel like sets, with parents who feel like they're bosses, and it's unclear when they finally get to stop performing. McCarty likewise says these parents are often failing to empathize with their children and not considering how they would feel if they had the most intimate moments of their lives monetized. Young people are likewise increasingly criticizing the practice of family vlogging on social media. It's about fucking time. I called this so long ago, and yes, my kids do appear in our videos from time to time. What the do you know about them?
I know a few things. Sorry, there's a butterfly.
Well, yeah, you do. You're a family friend. It's different. And we compensate them.
Yeah.
Like, I was an extra on the X-Files. I don't know if I've talked about this. I was an extra on the X-Files when I was a kid. I
find it.
I've never actually seen the episode, but but like, I'm not bothered by that because all I did was appear on camera. My dad gave me the money. I mean, it was my money, right? But he made sure that I got it. His rule for it was that we both made money. We were both extras, and that we weren't gonna, it was like a couple $100 or something like that. And he was like, hey, it should be, we should do something together with it. Like, he didn't really like give it to me, but we went and we ate at La Belle Auberge, which was a fancy French restaurant in Ladner when I was a kid. It's not there anymore. And we went and we tried it because we would walk past it all the time. And it was one of those places that was like $100+ a plate. And that was back in the 90s, right? So this was a very a fancy restaurant. And so, yeah, I was in this thing, but my intimate secrets were not spilled out online. We turned it into an opportunity to do something together as a family. No harm, no foul. But that's not
I think it's cool.
What these families are doing. It's absolutely wild.
I think there's also a huge difference between happening to appear in, one video every once in a blue moon and being compensated for that, compared to having content made about you, including, as you previously mentioned, pretty intimate parts of your life, like first menstrual cycle, stuff like that. Like, that being on YouTube for all your peers to see is ridiculous and not okay.
Yeah, brutal. Sony seems to be struggling with the concept of multi-platform support. Oh, wait, hold on. I want to finish by making my prediction again. The only way that this is ever going to change, this family vlogging exploitation of children, is when one of these kids reaches the legal age and sues the out of their parents. And it's basically like, hey, you guys made, by my rough calculations with data that is easily available online, $8 million over the course of my entire childhood. I am one of the 3 principal talents on this channel. I would like my $2.7 million or whatever it works out to. You can send it through my lawyer. That is the only way that this is going to change. If one of these guys takes it to court and wins it. Otherwise, it's just going to be the same. Okay, Sony seems to be struggling with the concept of multi-platform support. According to records from the Korean Ministry of Science's Testing and Certification Center, Sony has developed a PC adapter for PSVR 2, showing that they've made significant progress on their promise to add PC support sometime this year. This would likely bolster sales for the PSVR 2, which is reportedly experiencing a major backlog of unsold devices. It's a pretty cool device, got an OLED display, it's pretty darn comfortable, it's... yeah, I think something that would do okay. I don't know. Okay, it'd be okay. It'd be pretty competitive for the price. I think I would find a PSVR 2 pretty darn attractive as a gaming headset. Meanwhile, PlayStation's new co-CEO, Herman Hulst, insisted at Sony's business segment meeting on Thursday that PC gamers will want to buy a PS5 in order to play their upcoming exclusive sequels like Spider-Man 2 and God of War Ragnarok after playing earlier entries in those series recently released for PC. And our discussion here is, as a PC gamer, would you be tempted to play Horizon Zero Dawn, for example, on PC, and then run out and get Horizon... Oh, shoot. See... As a PC gamer, I can't even remember what the second one was called because I played Zero Dawn and then I was like, oh, there's a sequel. Oh, it's not on PC. I guess I'll just not play it. But I tend to... I take a pretty different approach to my gaming backlog where I'm just like, oh, well, realistically, I haven't gotten to participate in a cultural moment like Helldivers 2 or what was that Pokemon with guns game? Pal World or, whatever else. I don't get to participate in these cultural moments anyway, so screw it. If it actually has staying power, then I'll play it later. But would you be tempted to run out and buy a PS5 in order to play a sequel?
I could see that being a thing. I honestly could absolutely see that being a thing. I think a lot of people play games more than they play systems, if that makes sense. Now, the economic environment that we're in and the cost of modern consoles might put a stop to that. I think it used to be a little bit more approachable to get into a console. But if it was kind of time to upgrade your computer anyways, and your favorite game was the game that you're playing now, and there's the next version of it is just on the console, I could see that happening. But I think that's going to happen significantly less than Sony thinks, and I think they would drive a lot more overall revenue just releasing the darn games on PC.
I don't know, man. A lot of people... Go ahead.
I just, you always have that experience, or at least this happened when I was younger, where people would come over to a friend's house and see Halo for the first time and then be switched over to Xbox houses or whatever else. Like individual games can swing people.
Absolutely. And a lot of people in chat are talking about it. A lot of people in chat are like, I'd be tempted.
It's totally a thing.
But can I propose, man, I don't know why so many, I was reading this article a little while ago. I might have even talked about this on WAN Show before, but it was about every once in a while, like luxury goods articles get fed to me, like the state of the luxury goods market, and particularly like, what is it, South China Morning Post or whatever, like I'll particularly get articles from them. This was more before they went paywalled, and I would actually read articles there. Now I'm like, oh, okay, paywall, I forgot about that, and then I navigate away, so I don't really get them anymore. But one of the things that they would talk about a lot is they would kind of keep tabs on the state of the luxury goods market in Southeast Asia and China, kind of overseas. And I remember reading about how there's this like trend, there's this trend toward more secondhand luxury goods and the incredible value that you can get by buying and by selling the things that you bought for so much money and getting back some of the money for it, and then you can buy something else with that, and by saving money by buying secondhand. It's like it's this, like the idea of a thrift store is a new fucking idea or something. But I don't know what it is about people, because I don't think it's just the younger generation. That was what the article was about. It's like younger generation comes up with the idea of buying and selling secondhand. I was like, no, you didn't. But basically, I don't understand why so many people are allergic to that. If a game comes out that you really want to play, go pick up a secondhand PlayStation 5 on Facebook Marketplace. Okay, so that's like, let's do the numbers, right? So that's it's probably going to be like $100 off or whatever. So that's $350 out of your pocket. Let's say, I don't know the actual numbers, it doesn't matter, but that's $300 out of your pocket. Okay, you go buy the game, right? So that's $70 or 80 or whatever it works out to for a modern game these days. I don't know. I'm in Canada, so I don't even know what US games cost. So you go buy your $70 game or whatever. So you are $420 out of your pocket. Nice. Okay, so you play your game, right? Realistically, it's probably got, 25 to 75 hours of gameplay. So you can probably get that done in, let's say, a month, right? I'd say that's pretty reasonable for a game that was so compelling, right, for you that you went out and you bought a several $100 console just to play it. Okay. Sell the console. It's been a month. How much do you think the value has actually changed, right? Compared to buying a new one, the value of a second-hand one realistically hasn't changed that much. You can probably get what you paid, and if you're patient, you can probably buy for lower and sell for higher, and then sell the game. Do you really need it? You will be out of pocket. I've made money in
those scenarios before too.
You'll be out of pocket probably $25, and it costs you overall less than the total cost of the game. It's no big deal. I used to do it all the time.
Another thing too is if you buy one that happens to be like a little bit dirty or a little bit scuffed up, you can try to I wouldn't say refinish it, but like clean it up a little bit, take better pictures of it than the original poster did, make it look a little bit nicer, and actually end up making money.
And it's a little bit of work, but it's also kind of, it can become a hobby. It can become fun. Bargain hunting is a lot more fun if you follow through and you don't just buy. If you sell as well and you maintain, like make a spreadsheet, have the discipline, make a spreadsheet where you track everything that you're buying and selling and keep it net zero. I bet you can do it. And I don't know, I had a blast with it. And man, the resources for it are so good these days. If I had Facebook Marketplace, which has problems, I mean, the fact that they're not tamping down on sellers who list for $0 and actually it costs a lot of money. Oh man, are you going to tell the bunker story? Or should we save that for another WAN show? You want to tell the bunker story? Okay, I don't know. He's muted, so who knows what he's saying, but it sounds like he's not going to tell the bunker story. We'll talk about the bunker story another time.
I can tell it now or another time. I'm down either way.
Sure. Let's talk about the bunker story. But the point is, let me just finish this thought. Facebook Marketplace is an incredible tool in spite of its problems, and I would have had a blast. Okay, I want to talk. Why don't you tell the bunker story, Luke?
Sure. Okay. So we were at a LAN party at Linus's house and having some fun, and Elijah happened to find a
concrete
safe. I think it was listed as, and it's very generic. They sell basically, it's a series of exactly uniform concrete slabs that make up all of the walls. I believe the floor, if there is any for the floor, and also the ceiling. I know the walls and the ceiling are all the same uniform concrete slabs, and then there's just a big vault door that goes into it. I was able to actually Google the company that makes it and figure out that this person that listed it for $0 was effectively just trying to resell from another company because all they posted were sample images, not an image of the actual safe or vault or whatever you want to call it. So they weren't reselling something that they owned. They were just trying to advertise and make money that way. So Elijah bugged him by offering him, I think it was like a single dollar.
So it was listed for $0? But the real price, I think Elijah messaged to find out.
It was listed for $1, sorry.
Yeah.
So it was listed for $1. We messaged him. Elijah offered him $1, I believe it was, or $2 or something. And he's like, oh, but my cost is like $40,000. And Elijah was like, well, you shouldn't have listed it for that. You shouldn't have listed it for $1 if you wanted to sell it for more than $40,000. And then my brother and I caught wind of this. And just decided to have a little bit of fun.
You guys are such fucking assholes.
A series of questions that ranged from like how it would be transported to us and what the transport costs would be. I got really into the exact material composition of the concrete, and when we nailed that down, despite knowing the safety rating of the lock, I started getting into like how many I don't remember what they're called, but the big, not the pins that you would pick with a lockpick, but the pins that go into the wall to keep the door closed, like how many of those exist? What are the material composition of those? How long do they stand up to angle grinder attacks? All this other different type of stuff. Just like every question you could possibly imagine. And then when you kind of run out of questions, you hit them with the old $2 offer. So we, it was just a little bit of fun, just wasting somebody's time who's basically wasting everyone else's time.
In fairness, he had it coming. I'm with you on this one. But how many days did your brother keep stringing him along? Wasn't it like almost a week?
My brother had him. I think it was actually a whole week, because the last messages I'm seeing here are from the next Sunday. I hadn't actually seen this one. The last question was, could you fit a small car inside? And he's
maybe
like,
Dan's car.
He's like very small, like a very, very small car. Could you fit one inside? Oh man.
I would love for this to become an entire content genre, just like trolling people who list things for $0 or $1 on Facebook, because you know what? Fuck those people. They are ruining the platform for everyone else, and they need to just screw off. Apparently it is.
Super annoying.
That's awesome. Well, I thought we came up with something, but I guess there's no such thing as a unique idea. Apparently Dutch TikTok is full of it. I love it. That's awesome.
That's great. Respect. But yeah, my brother had him. I think my questions got a little bit too obvious, but my brother was trying to convince him that he had an extremely extensive watch collection that he wanted to store within the vault and stuff. Like he spun this whole story. It was great. He did a better job than I did. I just got really into asking him a lot of questions, but my brother was like trying to have a conversation, which was a better use of time, I think. But it was good.
That's hilarious. OpenAI has formed a new safety and security committee only a few short weeks after it saw several high-profile resignations and ultimately the dissolution of its super alignment committee, which was focused on making sure that the pursuit of artificial general intelligence remained aligned with the interests of human beings. OpenAI says that this new safety committee will be led by 2 members of the current board, alongside CEO Sam Altman, the primary person who has been accused of making irresponsible decisions regarding AI and AGI development. There's not really much else for us to say other than, seriously? Who's gonna oversee the tech bros? How about the tech broest of tech bros? I got a bone to pick actually with the community, and I don't know how to address this because I think a lot of you probably recognize it, but I get called a tech bro a lot. I actually have very little in common with tech bros. I do not run a fucking tech company. I run a media company.
Yes, you do.
Okay, Floatplane, sort of. Floatplane's also a media company. I run a media company, an other more different media company, and an apparel company. Guys, come on! Anyway.
There's a good question. What about Labs? So there's a train going by, so I'm trying to toggle mute quick.
Labs is media. It's still media. It's all media. It's been media from the start. It's the moon meme. Always has been. Like, yeah, I love technology.
Okay, so if
but I don't do VC investment. I don't do tech bro stuff.
That's a big difference.
I don't do any of that stuff. I run a self-funded media company. So I resent that. Okay? I resent that.
I think the heavy VC funding and building in order to sell is the biggest differentiator, because like if you want to call Floatplane a media company, is like are people who work at YouTube not in tech? Are people who work at TikTok not in tech? It gets a little bit weird, but I think the heavy like financial company backing and stuff like that is a major differentiator.
Yeah, there's no private equity in Floatplane. There's no pressure on us to behave in any way that is unethical or that is that is hostile towards our user base or our customer base. And so there is no enshittification. There's no reason for it to happen. And it's something, it's the way that we are structured is the antithesis of like a tech bro style company. And, you know, obviously as people who are into technology and who are, you know, running a company, I can see how, you know, there's a lot of cosmetic similarities, but the underlying structure of this company is completely different. And the pressures on us are completely different. Someone asks, what about Framework? I do not run Framework. I don't have a seat on the board of Framework. Company. I had some cash burning a hole in my pocket, and I saw something that I thought was incredible and could be an industry changer. And I was like, you know what would be really cool is if I put my money where my mouth is, and if it ever grows and I ever get a return on the investment, that's super cool. But I'm basically kissing this away, and I guess we'll just see what happens. If it doesn't take off, then at the very least, I put my money where my mouth is, and I showed that I believed with real concrete, like money in my pocket. I showed that I believed in the mission. I'm super proud of them. They are doing incredible. And since we're at it, right, it was a very, very similar investment into that NAS operating system that is still churning away in the background. They'll let you guys know when they're ready to announce something. But again, I'm not being all tech bro about it. They offered a seat on their board. I told them I don't even want it. I don't want any of that pressure. I don't want any of that responsibility. They were good people who were building something that I believe in very, very strongly. I wanted it to have a shot. That was it. That's it. They were like, you are the least hands-on investor that we have ever heard of. Because I basically don't even like respond to emails. They'll be like giving me an update. I'm like, all right. And they're like, hey, we really need to have a call, like, because we'd just like to talk to you and, you know, get some insight on something or whatever. Or like, you know, obviously you invested in this because you felt very strongly that this is a product that, you know, creators and tech enthusiasts need. You know, we'd love to get some clarification on some stuff. I'm like, all right, I can fit you in on Saturday. That's the last call I had with them. I was driving home from dropping off my son at a lesson. Anyway, Corey is the name asks, does $100,000 really mean that much to a company like Framework? At the time, it was helpful, but no, it wasn't critical. They had put aside a little bit of equity for an investor that could open doors for them. And as someone who can help cheerlead the product, which I told them I would do regardless of whether they took my investment or not. It was at their discretion. I told them I would do it regardless. They saw me and our company as someone that would be valuable to partner with. Let's talk about the Spotify car thing. There's an update. They are not going to be open sourcing it. However, they will be issuing refunds for the car thing so long as they have proof of purchase, following backlash to Spotify's plan to brick the barely 3-year-old dedicated streaming device. As someone who cares about the environmental impact of tech, I'm not super happy with this outcome, but I am a lot happier from a customer care standpoint.
Refund would have been a lot better. Or sorry, open source would have been a lot better.
I would have strongly preferred that, but I also did talk last show about how I understand that may not be possible. Is there anything else in the doc? Did we get through the doc in a reasonable amount of time today? How are your fingers doing, Dan?
So. I suspect we have. Yeah.
Let's see. I have done 780 merch messages.
That is not good enough. There's a lot more coming, Dan.
Wow.
I'm working on it.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There are actually like 145 in the queue still. So objectively speaking, it's not good enough, but I'm still very proud of Dan and I appreciate his efforts. See, these things can both be true. Subjectively, I'm so happy that Dan is doing such a great job, but objectively, it's not good enough. See?
I think another way to frame it could be that Dan's effort is good enough, but he might need an expanded team in order to conquer this workload.
That's actually interesting. Dan, had we ever thought about, like, if we're launching a big product and we know we're going to get like a bajillion merch messages, bringing like Jake Bellavance back for like a Friday or something?
I've been training kind of Chewy to do this.
Oh.
Because he wouldn't probably embroil us in controversy like this guy.
See you later.
So I think that would probably be useful. I think there's like a level of intuition that you get eventually, which is why I can do this now, and I would be struggling like 6 months ago.
All right, yeah, we should, maybe that's something that we should consider. Hey, what was that one that just came up about someone having a one-on-one with their manager about wearing the LTT Hat Pro? Do you remember replying to that one?
I do, actually, hilariously. The hat was not professional enough or something like that, and he wants to make a case for it. And I think I suggested 2 hats.
That is hilarious. The LTT Hat Pro is not professional enough?
Something like that.
I mean, it's all black. It's a ball cap, though, I guess I can understand.
That's the problem.
Okay, so we need to work on a more professional hat. What's a professional hat?
No hat?
What's a professional hat?
Yeah, like what?
Top hat.
What makes it... I mean, we've joked about it before.
That would be... That's what you can use the alpaca wool for.
Oh, God.
The wool! Yeah!
I want an alpaca top hat.
Is why I was late on that.
You guys, it's going to be like $100 hat. People are going to flip out.
You're buying a top hat.
People already give us a hard time about our stupid pricing. And look, quality products cost money. I'm sorry, not sorry. But an alpaca wool top hat... You guys are going to get me roasted on social media.
I mean, if it's already happening, then like, what's just more fuel?
If you want to look like you can wear a top hat, you got to spend like you can wear a top hat.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. That cardboard cutout with a head on top of it is... okay. Dan, I don't think that it is realistic for us to get through all the merch messages this week.
I mean, if you're ending the show... I mean, I was making good progress. I think if you guys start some of the other ones, then I can get this down, because now we're in the denouement of the evening, and so they're coming in a little less fast.
Okay. All right. In that case, Luke, how long do you have? You appear to be in a park. There is literally someone hiking behind you right now.
Yes. So right now, I am mostly battery limited. So since I got out here, we've burned 22% of laptop battery.
Oh, that's not so bad.
So when that hits 0, I'm done, unless we want me to go onto my phone, which I am willing to do. It will be a significantly degraded experience.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we start on some curated merch messages, and I'll read them out, and then Dan will continue to reply to some, and we'll see how we do. Mike D says, "Hello, Dan, Luke, and Beardless Linus. What's a video idea you've had over the years that seemed like it would be good and an entertaining one, but just wasn't practical to produce?" Oh man, there's been so many. In fact, I could pull up a spreadsheet right now. If Luke has one off at the top of his head that he'd like to talk about, then by all means. But
I can talk for a little bit. What instantly jumped into my head was things that that is true for, but we honestly ended up doing anyways because we thought it was just a good thing to make for the community. Like, honestly, we announced it this stream. Like, making Scrapyard Wars doesn't make a ton of sense. It's very, very difficult to make. It takes an incredible amount of time, not only in the fact that, like, sometimes they're up to a week long.
It's super risky.
At least 2 shooters, sometimes more.
We're counting
2 hosts, and then the editing time for it is enormous.
And I'm super insistent that anytime we do a competition or a game of chance style piece of content, that it is real. So there is legitimately a strong probability every time we do something like Scrapyard Wars that it's just going to be boring as fuck.
Yep.
So it's super risky, but
yeah.
We do things.
But we believed in the content because as we talked about for a different topic on this show, we like promoting the idea of people making economic choices. By people buying on the used market, we're contributing less to e-waste because we're reusing things. You can get a lot better of a deal. You can get into computers, computer gaming, computer performance in whatever way you want to. by reusing other people's stuff, saving a ton of money, and it can be fun, which is part of what we're trying to show people as well, is it can be engaging, it can be fun, it can be done relatively quickly, and you can get really interesting things. And honestly, a lot of the computers that you end up making that way, you probably feel more attached to anyways. Like it's I don't know, it's all very good, but realistically, it's not super practical. The return on investment of making a Scrapyard Wars series is like
super bad.
Not the greatest.
I could do a lot of I could do a lot of sponsored pool robot videos in the time it takes to do Scrapyard Wars. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, a ton of them.
Here's one. I really wanted to do a roundup of window-mounted AC units. With how much heat pumps have been in the news, like doing like a window-mounted like heat pump style heater cooler window, I think that would be super news you can use content. I'm sure there's a channel that like is more focused on that kind of thing, but I feel like it's something that we could do if we really wanted to, do it. This is W in our rating system. So I've got like a color-coded rating system for video ideas. W is good ideas that might require sourcing something difficult or waiting for new technology to arrive. So one of them was, oh man, we're trying to get our hands on a Toshiba 55 ZL2 glasses-free 3D TV. That's one of those. One that just wasn't practical was using the Vision Pro for a whole day and just like vlogging about that. We just kind of got to it too late. Here's one I've wanted to do for so long. The e-waste PC, where I actually go like dumpster dive. But the problem is all those recyclers, because of their data protection policies and privacy policies and stuff, which I totally get and totally makes sense, they won't let you just dig around in the e-waste. And any transfer station or dump, like landfill in at least a part of Canada where I live, won't let you anywhere near that because they're worried about liability. Like, what if you puncture your skin on a hypodermic needle while you're digging around in computer cases, which, by the way, is a possibility. Remember that time I found a crack pipe in a computer doing Scrapyard Wars?
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I really want to do that. People have suggested it so many times. You think we haven't tried? Man, we've tried so many times. When we did that Acer sponsored piece where we set up like a stripped down Windows on like an e-waste tier machine, like an office discard machine, that was supposed to be the e-waste PC. We had found an e-waste processor like on the East Coast, and we were going to go all the way there to do an e-waste build challenge thing, and it was going to be sponsored by Acer, and it fell through. Like, we've tried so many times. I would love to do it. People are like, sign the necessary NDAs, etc. It's not that simple. They have agreements with the organizations that send them e-waste that say they will not allow an unauthorized party to have access to it. It's that simple. The answer is no. Yeah, it's tough. Sucks. All right, archive. Oh, yes, it's after dark. Chase M says, Sup, DLL. I wanted to ask about the Lux backpack. I'm on the fence about purchasing it and was wondering about how long I might have. Has it shipped? Shoot. This one I don't actually know the answer to. I know I just signed off on the final sample of the Lux Tech Sack, which I don't think we have talked about before. So that's coming to match the Lux backpack. But I believe we will have some inventory when it arrives. Like dozens of units, not a lot, but I believe we will have some when it arrives. Okay, archive. Gareth says, Hi, DLL. Back in many of your old videos, you would say to always use an anti-static strap, and you claimed you always had one on your ankle. Is that true, or were you lying for clout? It is true that you should. It is also true that I was often in a hurry. So, yes, I lied. If there's a lie that you could nail me on, it would be that one. That is one time that I have actively deceived the community, but my heart was in the right place. I wanted to make sure that I was encouraging proper best practices while also recognizing the reality of our fast-paced, understaffed production environment and desperate attempts to keep our business alive that would have been slowed down by me constantly clipping in and unclipping my anti-static strap, and I didn't have the money to invest in things like anti-static flooring, and I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. You know what? There's a second lie. I've told very few lies to the community. The two that I can think of right now are that one, and when I would fill a water loop and I would tell you guys that it was distilled water. It was it was tap water. And there is one particular member of our community who knows who they are and is a fucking idiot, who is very mad about that because I showed the performance of a water-cooled system that had tap water in it, which, by the way, here in British Columbia, Canada, in the city of Surrey, is not hard and doesn't have a ton of chemicals in it. It's basically whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, I have run our tap water in water cooling systems for extended periods of time, years at a time. Nothing goes wrong. It's fine. But the point is, they're extremely mad because I said it was distilled water, and then I gave performance numbers, not comparing multiple products against each other. I just gave some thermal numbers, and that I lied and deceived our viewers. And it's like, are you for real? Who cares? It doesn't matter. So that is a second lie that I told. I said I was using distilled water because depending on where you are, it may actually matter. Here, it doesn't. You put some biocide in it, you'll be fine. But I like to encourage best practices, even if I don't feel like going all the way to the grocery store to get distilled water because we're in the middle of a shoot and I need some stupid water. I'm just going to go fill a bottle and I'm going to fill it from the tap. I'm sorry. Sounds like you should make a donation to BC Children's as an apology. Okay, I just did. I just did. This was cool. I actually had the relative of a BC Children's employee who works in the lab that we donated to walk up to me in a parking lot, which is a little creepy, by the way. Please don't approach public figures in a parking lot. Like, your intentions might be good, but it's actually kind of scary. But anyway,
one of the worst times.
Yeah, they approached me in a parking lot and were like, hey, I just wanted to say, like, thank you so much for the money you raised. My brother and his team are so grateful and they're going to do such incredible work with it, and it's completely blew away their expectations. So that was pretty cool. But don't do that.
That's awesome.
All right. What's next? Oh, right. I'm in charge of this. But anyway, sorry, it wasn't for clout. It definitely wasn't for clout. It was because I want people to follow best practices, even if I don't always have time to do things properly. Mitchell D asks, I bought an engagement ring and I'm trying to think of ideas for how to propose to my girlfriend. Linus, what's the story of how you proposed? Luke and Dan, do you have any plans of how you would propose in the future? Okay, mine's terrible. My wife explicitly told me not to put the ring in food and not to propose in front of our families. I did both. I don't know why. I don't think I could put myself back into my headspace. My original plan was to propose underwater. And then she explicitly told me not to do that. So my plan was to be scuba diving and find, a treasure chest with a ring. And I was like, I've got a really good idea. And she was like, as long as it's not underwater. And I was like, oh, okay, busted. And then I don't know. She hates my proposal. So whatever you do, don't do what I did. A good bet would be to ask her for inspiration. Kind of go chat GPT on this. Ask her to give some inspiration, and then try and find something that's aligned with her interest, but that would be a fun surprise and different.
Find like a compilation of funny ones online and watch them with her, and then roll it into like rating them on like how much she likes them. I can't be super specific right now. Someone is across the table.
Geeky Vapor says, don't do it publicly unless you're 100% sure they want that. Yeah, 100%. Geeky Vapor knows what's up. Yep. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, good luck with that. Congratulations in advance, I hope. Or I'm sorry to hear that. TLDR. Or however that copy pasta goes. Juan B says, hello from Miami. Welcome to Miami. Sorry. I did that wrong. I'll be watching this on my way to work tomorrow morning. What are some of the things you wished you knew when you started the company, and what are some pros and cons of having your own company? I wish I knew how much bloody work it would be. The pros are that you kind of, you can control your own destiny to a degree. Like there's things you can't control. There's economic conditions. There's pandemics. There's all kinds of stuff that you can't control. But compared to just having your livelihood and having your life and your happiness tied to the whims of someone else, I would say that is a major advantage, but it's also a major disadvantage because you're going to be subjected to all of the pressure that comes from having that level of control. If anything goes wrong, you have no one to blame but yourself. Caleb G. Hey, Luke. I was curious, since you grew up in sports and being athletic, if you ever mountain biked, especially given you grew up in one of, if not the place to get into the sport, or one of the best, if not the best place. Luke, this one's
yes,
for you.
I did actually, but I mostly did it on like trails that just happened to be around my house. Sorry, 1 second. We are battling a invading insect that I just conquered. Yeah, no, I used to go on like trails around my house when I was growing up. My house was much more wild land around it than it is now because
It's all urban now.
Kind of, yeah, got all over to where our house was. But originally, it was mostly fields around there. So we would go around the fields and make little tracks in the forest, or like jump over, just push a bunch of dirt in front of a fallen over tree and use that as like a jump or whatever else. But the reality of mountain biking was a little expensive for our abilities at that time. So
I was lucky to have a bike with gears,
like ice hockey. Exactly, yeah. Like my mountain bike had no shocks. My shocks were my legs, and I would stand up while I was going, which was great. I didn't mind it, but like there was some issues with like, okay, we're not going to go up to Whistler every summer and like go mountain biking on Whistler and stuff like that. It just wasn't going to happen, which is fine. But it was a little bit limiting. We didn't play ice hockey. We played ball hockey, things like that. But yeah, no, I think mountain biking's super cool, but I never got like really into it. I just enjoyed riding a bike on trails and stuff like that.
Ben R says, I love this upcycle. I've wanted a forever pen for a while, but couldn't decide. This is the one. Hey, thanks, Ben. Question for Linus. How has your autograph evolved over the years? Have you considered changing it? I have changed it multiple times because I realized that it was pretty fucking stupid to use my real signature and hand it to people in public.
Bad. Don't do that.
Yeah. Every once in a while, someone will hand me something that they're like, hey, I had you sign this once and I want you to sign it again. And I'll have this temptation to like scribble out the old one. Because they'll have like my real signature that I use. Realistically, what I should do is I should just change my signature. Maybe I'll do that. You know what? There. This will be the kick in the pants that I need to finally change my signature. I just got a new document of some sort. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you don't need to know. But I just got a new document of some sort that needs a signature. And I'm going to sign it with a new signature. And we're going to see how that goes. It's going to be great. I'm going to come up with something. It's going to be really inconvenient for Yvonne for reasons that Luke will find funny, but none of you need to know.
My mic was muted, but that is actually quite funny. You guys are still doing that, eh?
I don't know what you're talking about. William G says, Linus, as a fellow Ally lover, I'm disappointed with how they've been handling warranties. Have these issues influenced your preference between Ally and Steam Deck? Okay, this is a really good question. It's a complicated question. I'm sure that you've seen the leaks for ASUS's rumored Ally X handheld. And so what I predict is that if ASUS were to continue to have support practices that I can't fully get behind, I would need to say something about that in any hypothetical coverage of such a device. Mark says, hey Linus, as a parent with ADHD, what strategies do you use to help your children avoid the same pitfalls you had going to school? School is so different for my kids anyway. They don't even have like homework and stuff. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what they learn. I know what they learn. They learn stuff. Yet they don't do homework. It's like not allowed or something.
Whoa.
Like if they don't finish a worksheet and it's like a problem, like they were being disruptive or whatever, occasionally they'll be asked to finish the rest of the worksheet at home. Or if they miss a week of school because they're sick or something, they'll be given a package to work on. But they are supposed to be given ample time to complete work in school. And that seems to be a policy.
Is that a government policy or is it that school policy?
I have no idea. Yeah, so they seem to... Honestly, it's probably a good thing because, like, kids are in so many extracurriculars these days compared to how I feel it was when we were kids. Like, mine are pretty busy. Like, they're busy kids. So if they had a bunch of homework on top of it, I don't know how they'd survive. Rick T says, hello, DLL. If a Netflix or Amazon approached you about making a tech news / entertainment show for them, do you think it'd be something you would go for? Man, that'd be tough. I can see why Mr. Beast did it. I think that's going to be really incredible. It's going to be potentially the moment where he transitions to being like a mainstream celebrity, as opposed to the biggest YouTuber, you know? Like, I think that's super cool. I don't know what our tech / news / entertainment show would be. It's something that I haven't brainstormed in a long time. I used to have some kind of cool ideas. I always thought something in between Just for Laughs Gags and Mythbusters would be kind of cool, like tech pranks. And I had one idea for like a pilot where we even got as far as kind of brainstorming some ways that we could do it. But the idea that I had was like using speakers and sound projection and machine vision to turn a crosswalk into a piano or something like that. Like, so where all the pranks, instead of being like sleight of hand or like more illusion or magic oriented, were more tech oriented. I thought something like that would be really cool, but I just have no idea what kind of offer I would have to get to justify shifting my focus from what I do to doing something like that. I think it'd be kind of cool though.
I wonder if I still have I spec'd out how to do that musical crosswalk thing. I wonder if I still have that document somewhere.
I think we had a couple different ideas for how to do it. So there's probably a couple things in there. Earl S says, Linus, you mentioned that you read comments before watching content. When you decide to watch a YouTube video, do you speed it up? Yeah, I watch at 1.75x if they speak fast, and then I'll go to 2x if they're a slow speaker. I actually kind of wish they could go a little faster. I was watching Technology Connections video on the color brown the other day, and I was like, dude, I need like 2.5x for you. But like, you know, really, really good. Love the channel and everything. But the certain creators, I do wish I could go a little faster.
Fantastic channel.
Yeah. Shay B says, hey, bad cholesterol team, JK. What is your general experience negotiating with brands, sponsors, and suppliers? Are there some insane terms you can share or crazy stories? Oh man, I don't really negotiate with brands that much anymore. I will say, oh man, what can I say? What will not get me in trouble? Luke, do you remember anything?
Insane turns and stuff? Not
terms.
really. Like, terms.
Like requirements. Like,
yeah, there's been a few terms that were crazy, but we just said no and then didn't do it.
Yeah, like we've had ones that have asked for, like I remember a phone manufacturer, and like October or something, or sorry, August or something, wanted like a non-compete for 3 months over the entire like September iPhone launch / whatever period. And they were some like rando like Chinese phone company. And I was basically like, no, like, what are you even talking about? So there's definitely been some stuff like that, but we just say no. So man,
Yeah.
I got the most chatted out. This is amazing. Oh my God, I have a big problem. What day is it there?
Saturday.
What time is it?
Why do you need to catch a flight? It's 12:30.
No. I
noon.
am. Oh no. Uh-oh. Hold on. Oh no. Stall them.
Okay. How do we stall them?
I think I have
How
some
has
Luke.
work been with me gone, Dan? Oh, sure. Go do that.
Question for Luke: are you playing MOP Remix?
What?
I don't know.
The WoW thing. No, I'm not.
Hey, Luke, you mentioned
No.
Dimension 20 a couple Dan shows ago. I wanted to ask which campaign has been your favorite.
Oh, sorry to be disappointing. I don't actively watch it. I think it's cool, but I mean, that's a lot of content to sit and watch. I don't really watch that much stuff. I play video games if I have time at the computer. If I have time at home that's free, I'm not usually going to watch TV shows or anything like that. I'm usually just going to play games or work on stuff.
Does Luke still keep in touch with anyone from 929?
929? What's that?
I don't know. That's what it says. 929. 929.
Best Buy 9? Is this Best Buy 929?
Possibly. They bought a pen.
Is that the Best Buy 929? Yeah, that's the Best Buy I used to work at. That took a moment to remember. Not super actively. There's a couple people, like I have a couple people on Steam, and I don't really talk to them, but I'll see them jump in and play games every once in a while, and I'm often tempted to like send them a message, but I don't even know if they like remember who I am. So I don't really bother, because it's been a long time for some of them, and like for some of these people, one of them in particular that I know I still have on Steam because I see him launch things every once in a while. The last time I would have talked to him, I think I would have been like 15. So I don't know, but there's quite a number of people that I would be happy to, but I don't really keep active contact with them. No. I'm surprised this person wrote 929. I'm wondering if they're one of them or something. Because I don't think most people would know that is the Best Buy that I worked at, but I don't know.
For those wondering, I realized that I screwed up something on my badminton playing schedule in Taiwan, and I accidentally booked some stuff for this Saturday, and then I realized that a few days ago, and then I forgot to message. So I'm literally supposed to be at a center in like a few hours, and I have to bail, and I feel really bad because it's with someone that I've played with last year and then played with like years before, and like we had dinner last year, and like, you know, I feel really, really, really bad, and I just completely forgot.
Do you have another day you can play with them?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna see if he's around sometime in the middle of the week. But I feel awful because he's like super nice guy and has helped like coordinate groups for me before and stuff. Yeah, he's super cool. Anyway, yeah, so I feel really, really awful right now, and let's get through some more curated merch messages. Oh wow, there are. Oh God, Dan, you're curating a lot of them. Okay. JS asks, "Hey Linus, what's your favorite and least favorite part of the Langley house? Like the one we used to shoot out of? My favorite part of it. Oh man, I guess it has a pretty open layout on the main floor. That was pretty helpful. My least favorite.
Do they mean like favorite part of when we worked there, or do they mean literally the physical house?
I don't know. My favorite part of working there was definitely the camaraderie. I remember actually pitching to an agency that was looking for like reality talent. Like they were pitching me to come be on some reality show. And I was like, you know what you guys should do is you should come make a reality show here. Because this place is nuts. Like, can you imagine a reality TV crew being in there with like you, me, old Taryn, Burkle, Brandon, Nick? I think that was Ed. I think that was the whole crew at the time. That would have been nuts. Like the deadlines were crazy. The hours were crazy.
Awesome,
like things were kind of tense sometimes, but respectful, but tense. And like, it would have been such a window. It would have been such a time capsule into an early stage of like new media that I don't know if you'll ever be able to capture again. It would have been really cool. So cool. They missed out. They just like never replied to me. I was like, well,
I do wish that happened.
You're dumb. Would have been awesome. Anonymous asks, sup, LLD, can you give us a TLDR version of the real harm of big tech companies collecting and selling your data? Why should we care about it? You should care because of who they can sell it to. And I get it, right? I think it's pretty easy to fall into the whole, well, I've got nothing to hide, so what does it matter kind of trap. But the thing is that you have nothing to hide today. I mean, women in the States didn't have anything to hide until very recently, potentially with respect to medical procedures, for example. And like, look, this is a tech program. I'm not interested in taking a position on that matter. I think I've made my thoughts on it pretty clear in the past. But what I will say is that it is a prime example of something that didn't matter for your, searches about day after, pills or whatever else. They didn't matter before. And now all of a sudden they matter, right? Insurance company policies can change. The value of the data can change. Like something that can be detected, like some medication that you're on today, they could find out something new about it, and all of a sudden, it's a risk factor for Alzheimer's, or who knows? And all of a sudden, yeah, sure, legally, pre-existing conditions, something can affect your coverage, something. Yeah, sure, today, but things can change. And once that data is out there, it's out there, and that's it. That's why it matters.
There's also a lot more that you can glean from that data than you might be than you might realize. Like there's old stories about how parents would figure out that their daughters were pregnant before their daughters.
I put your camera on so I could virtually high five you, Dan.
That they had at Target.
Yes, good job. Dan got through them. Sorry, I talked over you, Luke. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that sometimes there's more information that can be gleaned from that data than you might realize as well.
Yep.
So they might know more about you than you think. And also just like you're in a somewhat constant battle for the information that goes into your brain. And do you want to give that level of information about how you work to people that are spending gratuitous amounts of money to try to twist your actions and convince you to do things that you might not otherwise want to do? Also, the data is almost certainly going to leak.
Julian S. That's a really good idea. I'm not going to read it out on the show, so it can be a surprise for everyone, but that's a pretty cool idea. Damon S. Hey, Linus, Dan, and Disconnecting Luke. I work in the trades and thus have so far been unaffected by the AI revolution. Do you guys see trades and other skilled labor positions being threatened? Not in the near future. I mean, I think that quote-unquote unskilled labor, which I don't really like that term. I don't think that anyone who works hard and tries to do their job as best they can, I don't think anyone like that is unskilled. I've seen some wild, YouTube shorts or TikToks of people who work on a box assembly line, like doing it faster than I could imagine any machine possibly could. Like, I've seen stuff, right? There's no such thing as unskilled labor, but I do think that relatively lower skilled labor, like unloading trucks, is definitely at more risk than something like, running data wiring in a new construction, or something like that. But I don't think anything is forever. But I do think that skilled labor, like that requires apprenticeships and study and all that, I do think that you guys are in a pretty good position, and I would strongly encourage people to pursue a career in trades right now. Man, it's hard to find good tradespeople, and they are valuable.
Yes. And they charge a lot because they can.
Tyler P. Hey, LLD and E. When's the last Linus-led development item that actually went through? That's a good question.
Wow, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a long time, actually.
This isn't something I've tracked, and to be clear, Linus-led development was more specifically like a if Linus asks for something, we do it era. Linus still asks for things. It's just more of a conversation now, and sometimes we won't do it for various reasons. But it doesn't mean we're just automatically not doing things that Linus suggests. We still do tons of things that Linus suggests. We might not do it exactly at that time, or we might not do it exactly in that way. But yeah, the reason why I refer to it as Linus-led development is because all choices on what to work on and when were effectively coming from Linus, and that wasn't working for a variety of reasons.
That's a charitable way of putting it.
If I can throw him a bone, it's not really his fault, because he wasn't working with the team. He didn't see the things that we need to be working on. He didn't see a lot of the stuff. He wasn't directly in that. So there's no way that it would have been possible for it to be accurate. And as I've said in the past multiple times, it's more on me. I should have taken it over sooner, but I'm happy that I did take it over eventually.
Anonymous asks, why do you guys think these companies are so focused on dedicated gaming devices like Steam Deck, Ally, Claw, etc., when phones and tablets are becoming powerful enough to run good games? It's a different class. And you can go kind of, phones are going to get better and better and better. And it's like, yeah, so are those, right? And the fact that we can play, AAA, what used to be desktop class games on a portable handheld device now is pretty incredible. And it's going to be a long time before phones are going to catch up enough. And by that time, we'll probably get another generation of consoles, which is going to mean another generation of game developers pushing the boundaries in terms of graphical fidelity. I do think that it's a valid in-between piece, and I think that it's going to see I think it's going to continue to see a bit of a renaissance. I mean, Microsoft is rumored to be working on a portable Xbox. I think Sony is rumored to be working on like a not PlayStation Portal, like actual new handheld. So Nintendo Switch 2 is supposed to be basically Switch 2. It's supposed to be another hybrid portable handheld. I'm very excited for gaming portability. I mean, the original NVIDIA Shield, which was that little Android clamshell portable gaming handheld, was reinvigorated my love of gaming, because I had just had a kid and I had no way to play games because I was never able to sit at my desk, and it allowed me to stream like Tomb Raider and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. Seth asks, did Linus ever daily drive the OnePlus Open? No, I really wanted to. And Bell took it home took it to a trade show after the short circuit. And I was like, I had wanted to take it to the trade show. And he was like, well, I have it. And I was like, okay, well, can I get it from you after? He goes, yeah. And I got it back. And already, from having been used for like a week or two, the hinge didn't open all the way. And I was like, okay, well, so much for that. Is Luke gone? Am I on my own?
Oh, yes.
I think he did.
Luke, you stopped moving and your cardboard stand-in fell over.
Sorry, I accidentally kicked it. David T says, why did MSI repossess the laptops from your gaming minivan? You mentioned that in passing in a May 8th live stream. I don't know. I think they might have been engineering samples, so they might have just needed to go back. And it's not like the sponsorship dollars still didn't come through. And if we don't keep the hardware from a sponsored project, like whatever, we got paid, we paid our staff, everything's hunky dory, but it means that there aren't actually computers in there right now. And I've been putting new ones in because I want to make a video about it. So my poor kids just are like, yo, Dad, these screens don't do anything. I'm an okay parent. Matt C says, speaking of security theater, what's the most annoying IT rule you've ever dealt with? Mine is not being able to access a site from mobile Safari when Safari on M series Mac is fine. Yeah, that is pretty irritating. I don't know if I can think of anything personally, but Luke, can you think of something?
Dude, password rules. Oh my goodness. I recently had to create an account at a financial institution. I will not obviously name which one. And they limit your passwords to 20 characters, maximum 20 characters. And I think they had a minimum as well. And then they had some requirements of what symbols you could use. And they're like, you have to use a symbol. But then the symbol that I chose to use, they're like, well, that one doesn't. Like we actually don't recognize that as a character, so we're not even going to allow you to set a password with that symbol in it, let alone not count it towards the minimum symbol required count. So they didn't allow a bunch of characters, and then they maximize the amount of characters that you could use. And I'm just like, dude, this is important financial accounts. Like you actually can't just. Oh man, yeah, I don't know. Password rules drive me nuts constantly.
Wow, Dan editorializing in the replies. Foldables are dumb anyway. I mean, the cases are pretty bad, so Ryan G definitely has a point. But, wow.
What am I? I'm not a news reporter.
Wow, Dan. Yasser K says, hey, DLL. Linus, when did you first realize that you were going to be held to a higher standard than most people deal with? Was there a moment that made you think, I'm kind of famous? Thanks. I don't know. There have been lots of little things that I've kind of looked at and I've gone, like, really? But I think part of the reason that I get held to such a sometimes ridiculous standard is that we've always been very transparent. We've always publicly held ourselves to very high standards. So I think I've kind of created this for myself because people can, I don't think it's a function of being famous. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is super famous and no one seems to actually care that, he hangs around with women who are, several decades younger than him, even though that's like, a behavior that would be weird if your dad did it when you brought your friends over, And like, I'm not saying he's a pedophile. Like as far as I can tell, everyone's, legal age of consent and all of that. But it's just like being famous doesn't necessarily mean that you're held to some kind of high moral standard or whatever. There's an awful lot of like, haha, oh, like I just, I don't really know. I don't really know what my deal is.
I even see in some cases with famous people where not only are they not held to a higher standard, they're actually held to a significantly lower standard. Like them acting like an idiot in whatever way will be aggressively defended by their fan base.
It's like funny and endearing or something.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like they almost are allowed to get away with being more of a bad person.
Yeah, Cohen Lemon here.
Completely the other way.
Cohen Lemon here is like, yeah, every rock and roll star ever with drugs. Like if some nobody has possession of whatever, then they should get like the shit beat out of them by the police and they should go to jail. But if a famous person, throws a party with like where they bake bread with cocaine instead of flour, it's like, that's hilarious, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Joseph A says, hi, LL&D. I'm running data through Conduit to a barn roughly 100 Freedom units away. Should I use Cat 6 or fiber? 100 feet? Oh, man, no, I'd go Cat 6A. Go Cat 6A. Cat 6A is boss tier. It's good. Jake N. How much do I need to spend to make Linus rub his head and pat his belly at the same time? I mean, you spent $194 on the store. I'd say that's probably good enough.
It's really hard to do.
It's funny because I've done it the other way before, so I was all ready to pat my head and rub my belly. Like that one I can do no problem.
Yeah, you've got that down pretty good.
But this one took me a second. Anywho.
There you go, you got it.
Adam K. Hi, DL and DL, Digital Luke. Linus, do you have any advice for someone really interested in playing badminton in a region where community badminton groups are virtually non-existent? Thanks. No, it sucks. It's one of those sports that can only be as big as the facilities to accommodate it. I know that a lot of groups here will try to rent out like school gyms and stuff off hours. And that's something that's also pretty common over in Asia from what I've seen. But if those groups don't exist in your area, man, it's tough to get something going. It really is. Kevin M. Happy days, everyone. I barely get to catch you all live. As someone in the trades, are there any specific technologies like remote operation or autonomous operation of heavy equipment that excite you? I mean, I think we had a similar question a little while ago, and like autonomous farming with super precise like geolocation and stuff. Man, that is super cool stuff. William C. says,
I like farming stuff.
Wow, thanks for contributing,
like
Luke.
Farming tech, I find to be
really you're gonna interrupt for that. I like farming stuff.
I
like turtles too.
Things. I play. I like trains. Yeah. Anyways,
William C. asks, Linus, since your Note 9 no longer gets security updates, yeah, it's pretty bad that I use this. Are you looking for a new phone? I mean, yeah, I was, and then you guys freaking saddled me with the Wing. That was a real. I was having a conversation with y'all, and you memed on me. Are you looking for a new phone? Yes, I wanted it to be the Fairphone 5, but that thing ended up totally sucking. So no, I'm not waiting for anything in particular. I'm waiting for not being lazy and just getting a phone. I probably will just go for another Note something, or whatever, the Ultra, whatever. I don't use the stylus often, but I do like it. So I'll probably just go with a Samsung phone with a stylus. I kind of want a Dahlia Pixel though. Kind of tempted. Anonymous says, DLL, how do you handle working with team members who disagree with the chosen solution and don't put in as much effort since it's not their solution? I'm a tech lead and I try to preach disagree but commit.
I mean, it happens all the time. What I talk about is that, you know, as companies grow, you don't have to agree with every decision that the company does, but you do have to kind of like do your job. And if you disagree with enough of them consistently enough over time, and it never changes, and you're voicing your opinion and it never changes, maybe it's potentially time for you to move on. I guess you're the manager in this situation, so maybe it's time for them to move on. If they're consistently underperforming all the time because they don't appreciate company direction, that's a performance metric that you can talk to them about and potentially move them on because of that. But like, I don't know, you got to do your job. Sometimes you don't fully agree with all of what that is, but I mean, that can be okay. Fully agreeing with everything that anyone else says is like never going to be a thing. You're never going to be in 100% agreement with anybody.
I disagree.
Perfect. I wish we could handshake through digitally. That would be fantastic.
John M. says, I work in corporate audiovisual and produce a lot of live events. I wanted to ask what your biggest challenges were making live style videos like PC or no PC. Thank you for the great workwear. Oh man, PC or no PC. I'd say the biggest challenge with that one was that I asked one thing about the set. I wasn't super particular about it. I asked for one thing. I asked that the jib shot, which I knew was going to be a thing, not look like crap. So we couldn't just see that we were in an empty warehouse. And I got there and I was like, I'd say the huge number of moving parts, because that's how things like that get overlooked, because everyone has so much on their plate and time is so limited that it can be a real challenge to get all the details right. Like at the roast, the audience wasn't mic'd. That destroyed the viewability of the VOD. They loved it. They were eating it up. The house was such a great atmosphere, and the VOD on YouTube just doesn't capture it. And you can see in the comments, people are like, wow, these jokes suck. They're so flat. The audience isn't even laughing at all. They were freaking loving it. It was a great atmosphere. And it just, little details are the hardest part of those kinds of things. Tyler V says, hey, Luke, and Luke, I see you talk about turning down potential opportunities for massive profits. What is something massively profitable that you've had to turn down recently? Something other than the VPN. We talked about that last week.
I don't think my team runs into this as often, but I do. Am I muted? No, I don't think my team runs into this as often. The VPN is by far the best example that we have. I think our best example of this would be that we tend to always work on like the hardest stuff possible, because we think it is, I don't know, more interesting, more who knows, honorable. I have no idea. We tend to to reach for like not just the highest fruit, but like, can we climb a mountain to get to a tree that's taller to grab the fruit at the top of that one instead? That tends to be more the stuff that my team ends up working on. Not so much a business opportunity things. I think really the only really major, definitely hugely profitable business opportunity that we could have gone after is the VPN. There's been other offers from companies to like make video stuff for them, or do custom things like that, but I don't know that they would be hugely profitable. So yeah.
Timothy says, hey, LLD, how can one learn to master live storytelling and the art of recounting personal experiences in an engaging way? How do you and Ludwig share personal experiences so entertainingly? Well, Ludwig's not here, so I can't answer for him, but I think for me, I kind of alluded to this on the Yard podcast when I was on it. I think that one of the things that content creators have in common generally is a degree of narcissism. I'm not saying that that means that every single YouTuber has narcissistic personality disorder. Like anything, it's a spectrum, right? And I do think that, disordered or not, there's a certain degree of innate interest in oneself and assumption that other people should care about oneself that has to be there for you to even practice the art of telling personal stories, recounting personal thoughts and personal experiences for an audience. Because otherwise, if you didn't think that people should want to hear it and should want to know about you, then you wouldn't push yourself to take those opportunities when a crowd is gathered to talk about yourself and talk about things that have happened to you. And I don't think that you would get good at it. And it's like anything for me. I didn't start out being good at storytelling or anything like that. Everyone's born knowing nothing. But it's something that, for whatever reason, I am compelled to practice. You know, when there's a conversation, my brain kind of goes, oh yeah, it's like that time that and I want to tell that story. You know, some people are more conservative. They're more just self-reflective. They don't need to tell other people about things. But for me, it's like, I want to, right? So practice is really the best thing that I can say. Luke doesn't need to add anything to that, apparently. Okay, Philip P. Hi, Leg Show. Luke, what are your thoughts on...
that was directed just at you, sorry.
No, it was for both of us, I think. Well, it was for me and Ludwig, but he's not here, so...
Yeah.
Luke, what are your thoughts on cousins of birds? The cousins of birds, reptiles. I myself have a small family, 3 adults, 4 children, and 8 eggs of crested geckos. Any tips for starting a business selling them? Okay, sure. Go for it, Luke.
I don't know, dude. What? I have no idea. My mom, when I was growing up, used to breed and sell betta fish. My dad built this huge wall of cascading fish tanks so that the water from one fish tank would kind of like flow into the next one and all this other kind of stuff. It was all crazy and cool, and he did a good job with it. And she used to sell them, and I think it was mostly like Web 2.0 internet orders and stuff back then. I don't even fully remember all of it. I'd have to talk to both of them about how they did it because I was pretty young at that time. But yeah, she would breed and sell betta fish. How exactly that worked, I don't know. Do I have any advice on selling reptiles? No, not even sort of. And I know basically nothing about them other than whenever I see geckos, I think they're neat. That's pretty much it. Sorry.
Good effort, Luke. Good effort.
Thanks.
Hi, DLL. I recently turned my side project into a software as a service and getting requests from fans to become affiliates. Any thoughts on what makes a successful affiliate program? Well, you're going to get a pretty biased version of that from me. Obviously, what makes an affiliate program successful from a media standpoint is that it has to have a strong payout. It has to have a compelling reason for people to use it. Amazon had that cool like smile thing for a long time where like they donated proceeds or something like that. Like you've got to engage with people emotionally to make them want to use your affiliate program. One of the things that we look for is recurring revenue. So if this is a software as a service product where your revenue is recurring, we expect our referrals to be recurring. But hey, you may not find that that's the most successful thing for your side, and you may find that it's better to cut off the, leech influencers or whatever who promote your product. But yeah, that's something that you're going to have to kind of solve for yourself. We have not figured out how to build a successful affiliate program for LTTStore, even though that's something that we have talked about and something that we would like to explore in the future. Brandon B. Hi, DLL. I'm a woman working in the male-dominated AV industry in a technical director/supervisor role. What advice do you give female managers who receive pushback from male peers or subordinates? Man, I feel like this is a conversation that I've had so many times to such frustrating ends. With my wife. I mean, we've talked about this on the WAN show, I think pretty recently, so I'm not going to talk about it for too long, but just the way that people will talk past her to me, even if she's the one that has sent every email leading up to this in-person meeting, even if she's the one that is answering every one of their questions, like they're laser locked eye contact with me instead of talking to her. And the cold hard truth is people are going to be like that. And all you can really do is do your best and kick ass. And you know what? F those people, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I don't have like a solution for you. I mean, frankly, if I did, I'd be mansplaining it anyway, I suppose. So like, I don't know. What am I? But for real, my general approach has all to business, because I'm not that good at like schmoozing, and I always get a kick out of conspiracy theories about how I like am in bed with, executives at every company, in bed figuratively, right? And I'm doing all these like backroom deals. Man, I don't deals with anybody. I don't even like talking to people. You guys are the exception, and I think it's mostly tolerable because you're basically a camera. Like I'm not actually the kind of person who craves like a ton of human interaction. I got into this because I liked to play video games by myself in my basement, right? So let's be real here. So sorry, where was I going with this? Right. So my philosophy has always been like, I'm just going to let the quality of the work speak for itself. And if you need something from me because that looks good to you, then you'll figure it out. You'll come to me and we'll do business. And if you can't get over that, well, then you, right? What do I care? I'll do business with someone else. And I'm doing okay, but hey, look, I obviously am speaking from a very privileged position here, right? Like, you're already talking about these challenges that you're receiving. But I really do believe the only thing you can do is just kick ass. Just keep doing it. You're clearly doing all right.
Sounds like they are.
Yeah.
But just keep going. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Chase K says, hey, DLL, for the smaller L, I'm starting to play Anno 1800. I keep losing around the Artisan stage. Any tips on getting past it or better setups? Okay, so you definitely got to figure out the efficiency of your production. If you don't figure out how to boost the production of your farms and how to start using trade unions with their boosting items and laying out your industry efficiently so that all of your raw goods are able to be transported quickly and efficiently, you're going to have a really, really hard time getting past that. You've also got to figure out inter-island trade routes. So I'd say those are the main things to focus on. Also, small backpack when. I have a sample that I am supposed to be wear testing in Taiwan, but I might have forgotten it in my office, and I don't know if I have it with me. But I'm going to get all my stuff moved over soon, and hopefully soonish. Mason G. WAN stars. Oh, it's a new one. I'm struggling at work with supervisors not following company guidelines and personal boundaries, emailing at 11 p.m., sharing personal information with other employees. Any advice? This is a tough one. And it's funny because we take these kinds of guidelines, extreme and laws, in many cases laws, whether they're guidelines or whether they're laws, we take these kinds of things very seriously here. And we recognize that there's enormous, liability. And so I think a lot of the time you guys hear a very employer perspective from me, because if we put a toe out of line, the liability to our company and to me personally is actually enormous. But we live in a place where employee protection regulations are extremely strong, and that's not the case everywhere. And we also work in an environment full of people who could just get a job somewhere else and be making great money somewhere else if they felt like it. We have an extremely skilled team, and not everybody is in such a privileged position to be in demand the way that a lot of members of our team really are. So you might be in a position where speaking out is not something that is covered or protected, and finding new employment in your field could be extremely challenging for you. And it's something that honestly I don't have a ton of experience with. I mean, obviously, having conversations, starting with an I feel statement, these are things you'll find in any guide for how to interact with people. But if people don't respect your boundaries, there's nothing that I or anyone can do to protect you from the potential consequences if they ultimately just decide to just not respect them. And I hear horror stories about other workplaces and the kind of employee treatment that takes place there. And I just don't really know how to reconcile how any of that makes sense in good faith human interaction. I'm sorry. Ryan M., how do I get refills for the pen? Still getting one before knowing. They take standard Parker G2 refills, so you can just buy any of that. They come with a Schmidt EasyFlow 9000 medium, but you can just fill it with whatever Parker G2 refill you want. They're common. Archive. Anonymous, what's your current use of the Note 9? Daily? What do you recommend for less technical relatives? iPhones, honestly. I typically get a new device when support is dropped. Yeah, I really should. Robert D asks, how's the Taycan holding up? I just hit 2 years with my 4S wagon and it's amazing, except the software bugs are awful sometimes. Like it can't list music files on a USB drive, or the nav voice unmutes itself. Mine's not too buggy. Occasionally it'll kind of have a little moment, and Android Auto connectivity can be kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but overall it's been pretty darn okay, except when it's in the shop. There's a recall for the windshield heater or something right now I have to take it in for, but it's summer, so I'll deal with it later. Okay, we're so close, you guys. We're so close. Thornton, no, we're not doing an episode of me playing badminton. No one cares about that, but thank you for the suggestion. Liam B. Good eye from Australia. When do you expect proper neural interfaces to be a thing? I have no idea, but they sound cool. Tanner. LLD, as someone involved in North American manufacturing, what's the thoughts on inshoring some manufacturing, even if it understandably increases cost? In theory, it's great. In practice, even the most ethically minded consumers seem to really struggle to maintain that when their ethics are reflected in an increased cost at the till. Like I was blown away by
almost no maintenance of that whatsoever statistically.
I was blown away by the number of Americans who use Shein as their primary source of clothing. Like I just look at it and I'm like, well, this is trash. How about no? Like navigate somewhere else. But fast fashion, man, it's a killer. Chris L., since we all seem to generally agree that this timeline has gone to hell, what year or event was the turning point for you? Interested to hear all of your opinions. All right, well, why don't we let Dan go first? Because he seems to be too relaxed now that he's gotten everything done.
I'm still going through it.
I'm teasing.
Let me think. I think it was probably the release of the 30 series. We've been seeing so many really, really good like price to performance increases from the GPU market. And then it just started to fall off. And now, since then, we're moving into other fields like AI and things like that. And so the consumer space for better and better GPUs is kind of becoming boring. And I don't know, there's not a lot to get super excited about anymore. At least from that side of things.
Luke, you want to go next?
Yeah, I think mine's significantly older than that. I think Dan's lines up kind of with like COVID. Not exactly, but pretty close. Oh, am I gone?
No, you're still here.
No. Okay, cool. But there was a marker, I think around like 2014, 2012, around there, where like, you know, income versus housing started spreading apart in a really bad way. Suicide rates started going up. Like a lot of things just started getting bad. I don't remember all the reasons for it. I've looked into it before, and the reasons made sense, but I don't remember what they are. But it was kind of around that era where things started to just kind of get worse for a very significant amount of people, and it's been continuing to get worse for a lot of those similar people.
So you've identified the second inflection point of the hockey stick. It started a little earlier. It started more like in the late 70s to early to mid 80s. And basically that was when executive pay started to dramatically outpace median pay. That was when housing prices started to dramatically outpace increased earning power of the worker. That's basically when everything completely in the world went to shit. At least in like the Western world, you know, within our limited sort of worldview. But if I had to have a tech answer, I'm going to go with mobile gaming.
Oh yeah, I misinterpreted the question.
No, both answers are great.
Very much agree with Linus. Yeah, that was bad. Reaganomics was not good.
Jeffrey, Linus, are you still enjoying your large Chinese TV in your theater? Do you think TVs above 120 inches will be under $8,000 anytime soon? I love my 150-inch projector, but would totally swap for better black levels. No, I don't think that's coming anytime soon. Even that $11,000 TV, turns out the MSRP in North America is going to be like $23,000. And it doesn't cost that much to transport it across the ocean. So I don't know what TCL is smoking over there. I think they recognize that consumers over here will be willing to pay a lot more for it, and they're just basically taking advantage of that. So yeah, you can't blame them. It's their technology. If you don't like it, then don't buy it, I guess. But no time soon. There's a lot of logistical challenges around products that big already, and going bigger is not going to reach that sort of commodity pricing in the near future, I don't think. And I think Is that it? We will see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye! With a big delay.
Oh my god. Look at it go!
I'm still there. Get me out of here. Ah.
Sorry, Lynn.